What is flappin' feather fluffers? Welcome to Can Rant. We're just two cans with two tall cans who can rant because we got two tall cans. I'm JD.
Yeah, you got funny tongue there, buddy.
Yeah, just a little bit. Not enough beer yet.
I'm Jeremy. Well, there's
Oh, you got two open beers now.
Well, I got a little bit.
Double
of one.
fisted
Got
them.
a little bit of one left, and I had to crack one for the song. Well, you had to crack it for me. I can't do two things at once.
Yeah. I was expecting you to just keep going and going and going on that song. Not gonna lie.
It was bad.
It's your first take. Whatever. How long has it been since you picked up a guitar?
I don't know. I pick it up from here in time and again.
Making fun of me for my slippery tongue.
This is gonna be a good one. I've been able to talk all week. Maybe I'm having a stroke. I don't know.
Oh, that's not good.
No, I'm hoping that's not actually the case, but my brain feels dumb lately.
Yeah, it goes around. It's season changing, I think. Fucking weird ass weather.
I was gonna go stress, but it is what it is. Ugh.
Stress, yeah, stress does that too.
All right, so what are we talking about this week? Anything good?
Know.
Probably a bunch of shit, right?
Yeah.
Just like last week.
Well, we got Gantz on the table, Something's Killing the Children, and Doomsday Clock.
Oh, we are doing Something's Killing the Children. All right.
Well, you just read it.
That's true.
I reread it. We did a thing on it before, and it was pretty good. Kind of interested on what you thought after reading the third one, if your thesis still held true. But
you're gonna have to refresh me on my thesis. I thought it was pretty cool. I definitely am like into it a lot more than I was. I know you were kind of disappointed when I was like, yeah, I didn't pick it up.
Yeah, well, no, I understand your situation, but I thought you enjoyed it enough, so you were gonna keep getting it and to be on top of the ball.
It just all depends on how it all falls. Like, if it falls on one of those weeks where there's other books, those other books are probably gonna take precedence at this point because I didn't hop on this early enough. I know you hooked me up with the first. 2. Oh, you gave me number 2? I think
number 1.
Yeah, you gave me a number 1.
Fourth printing.
I mean, I'm not like super concerned about the printing. I don't know, like I liked it. The first one was good enough to keep me hooked. Not a lot going on. The second one, the ending of the second one, you're kind of like, what the fuck? And this third one, all of a sudden you're picking back up with that girl who's now been arrested, apparently. When the cops showed up at her hotel room that time.
Erica Slaughter, yeah.
Yeah, I mean
that was good banter between her and the cop with the license.
Yep.
Is that your real name? Erica Slaughter?
Yeah.
It's on the card.
Yeah, you're definitely starting to feel a connection to... She's got to be some sort of monster hunter, from near as I can tell.
That's pretty much laid out straight away.
I get it, but like...
She's part of an agency or something that's been going around.
Yeah.
That's still mysterious and whatnot.
Yeah. And she's still talking to her stuffed octopus.
You think it's human? Or aliens?
Yeah,
or
something.
Figment
it's
of her
always fucking
imaginations?
aliens, dude.
Yeah, we'll get into that later when we talk about Gantz, for sure.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
But like, I kind of was disappointed that they left the whole alien octopus weird apparition that was in her hotel room out, and we just jump into her being arrested. No explanation whatsoever, except she ends up talking to it again. But it is interesting because the James character can't hear what the octopus stuffed animal is actually saying to her.
Yeah, and that kind of leads me to believe maybe she actually sees the apparition that we saw in the hotel room, because I don't think those guys saw it either, because during the interview, we saw you talking to a stuffed octopus. And I don't know, not a lot happened, but it definitely progressed the story further.
It dropped that there's another kid getting killed at this exact moment.
Yep, I agree. I mean, there was that.
But that's flashback, kind of. Black border, white border's present.
Oh, damn, I didn't even pick up on that. Okay.
Yeah, well, it's a thing that I noticed a lot more in manga that doesn't actually happen in Western comics. Usually they change the actual color palette to indicate past and present. Like usually past has a more like tinted, dingy sort of feel.
Okay.
Like trying to remember a memory.
Okay. Do you think this has like somewhat of a manga feel as far as like the artwork goes? She kind of looks
it's
like it a little
cartoony.
bit.
Well, she reminds me of the chick from Fooly Cooly.
Oh yeah!
Like hardcore.
Wow! Now that you say that,
I said it last time too, and kind of
Okay, I'm
like
sorry.
glossed over it.
I'm sorry.
Couple of beers in.
Yeah,
it
I'm
happens.
sorry. Yeah. You're definitely starting to form more of a connection with these characters. I'm definitely feeling for her. The fake license was pretty funny. I dug that. The banter was good. Like I said, I mean, they're establishing more stuff. Nothing really happens, but the story's progressing.
Yeah.
So
I was a huge fan of these like 3 pages of multi-page spreads while telling the story.
the paneling was really cool too.
Yeah.
There was some pretty interesting panels. Like I really liked. Go back page. The 3 on the top left, and then the boom, 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 boom. The 4. That was pretty cool. I've never seen that before. Took me a minute to figure out which way to read it, and then you have all the way across the bottom of the 2 pages.
It
which
took
is
you a
pretty
while
cool.
to read it? Like,
Well, at first I thought maybe it would go boom, 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 boom. I don't know. Sometimes my mind does dumb shit.
yeah. Oh, no, panel layouts are weird things sometimes.
It was cool though. It was refreshing. It was something different. I know in previous podcasts we talked about like the 9 panel, which this also did as well. The 9 panels per page, the square, keeping that block. But like, there's a lot of good variation. And like for not enough action to like, there's no 2-page spread in this, but at the same time, like you have these really like that's a pretty prime example. You got the 12 panels across 2 pages, and you're just reading row by row by row. We don't have this big blockbuster of a thing, but it still feels epic in the panel layout.
Well, no,
that conversation is very key. There's a lot of like it's kind of the crux of the conversation before they end up putting her in the drunk tank / ending up letting her go without giving too much away.
They just let her go.
Yeah. Well, no, he wanted to put her in the drunk tank.
Yeah, but then
something happened, and then they let her go. But that was kind of like the epic point where you weren't sure what was going to happen to her, as if she was going to be able to go out and save the kids because something is killing the children. And yeah, it was cool. I really liked it. You didn't have that big 2-page splash of a monster or anything like I think they had that in the first. Well, I mean, other than that, yes. Okay, I'm sorry. There's the 2-page splash of the title page, but like other than that, there wasn't anything like super crazy where we had these big 2-page splashes. I really liked. I don't know. Did you notice the Ouija board in the one panel? Like this kid is clearly messing with something. In one of the panels, you can see like a Ouija board in the foreground. Let me take a look.
I never noticed a Ouija board, but if there's a Ouija board, that adds a whole nother layer to it.
Right down there.
Oh yeah, check that out.
So like this kid's clearly messing with something.
Okay, so then you don't remember your entire thesis on what you thought this was? Because this beginning part kind of takes it out of context a little bit, potentially, depending on how you view it. You were saying that all these monsters were coming from kids. They told a story, and the stories came to life.
Yep.
But now they've introduced a Ouija board.
I mean, yeah, you could argue that it's maybe taking it out of context and bringing it more to like a real life monster, like they're summoning these monsters. But you also have to admit, like when kids play with Ouija boards, like they're making up stories at the same time. You know what I mean?
Well, it depends on your viewpoint of Ouija boards. Like I will not ever fuck around with a Ouija board because you don't mess with things that you don't understand, even if it's just a game.
Yeah.
There's a potential that it's not just a game.
Yeah.
That you're actually communing with things that are dead or not dead. Like demons or what have you.
Totally agree.
So, unless we're going with like the whole tulpa thing again, where you believe something hard enough, it comes to into reality.
And that's kind of what I was wondering. You know, I noticed the Ouija board. I'm surprised you didn't fucking see that, man.
I think I saw it, but it didn't register this time when we were talking about it. And I just skimmed through this as quick as I could.
True.
And
Sorry.
wasn't really taken into...
Sorry. I'm just saying it's definitely like an interesting twist of things. I do now remember my thesis now. That's the problem with Can Rant. By the time we're done, like, I don't remember anything we talked about. And then I listen to it, and I'm like...
Oh, God, I was drunk.
Yeah, and then I focus more on that than what I'm actually saying and trying to make sure I didn't sound like too big of a jackass.
But that's just your regular day-to-day.
Good call.
Don't worry about it.
You're not wrong, and you're not the first person to tell me that. You won't be the last. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have a whole lot more on it. I noticed the Ouija board. I thought that was interesting. I don't really understand the context of the conversation between these people.
There's been a lot of people, lots of kids disappearing or whatnot, and I think this is just one of the dads that you see, and he's just relaying how he feels about the whole situation. But there might be something more to it. That'd be further digging, where he's wondering about whether or not people see their children when they grow up as still the kid they had, or when they're kids you see like the man they're gonna become. And that kind of ties into the monsters in a little bit, because the monsters are getting stronger and stronger, and you don't know what their power level kind of thing is, their rating. But the more you believe, they sort of grow up to be their own sort of monster.
Who do you think her boss is? She mentions getting a call from somebody. I'm assuming it's going to be her boss.
You think it's her boss?
Tell him he's an asshole and that more kids are dying because he was late.
Oh, yeah, her partner or whatever?
Yeah. Do you think it's the octopus?
Nah, it's somebody separate from the octopus.
Okay.
In my opinion. I don't know who or like what kind of organization she's running with. That would require a bit more story to like unfold. Like right now you can only conjecture like maybe she's like the MIB version in this universe, or like some secret FBI, or just like in Snyder did something, and I don't know how influenced Tinian would have been by this, but the witches, where like they're running around killing witches, and it's like this special blood group family that runs around and is killing all the witches, which are like really crazy monsters from ancient times.
Is it a good book?
Yeah, it's creepy as fuck. I don't think you can read it though, because it's got kids getting killed and stuff. So how are you dealing with this one?
Reading it is different than like watching it. I don't know, man. I don't like seeing that shit on TV. It's hard. I don't know.
Wait, so are you saying that visual media is more impactful than reading? I guess they're both visual.
Repeat that question.
All right, so you're saying...
No. I'm saying is more visually or emotionally impacting? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I guess.
No.
But you can read this with kids getting killed every single day, every single issue, but you can't watch a movie with a kid getting killed, because that'll fuck up your day.
Not...
Or a show.
It's not kids getting killed. It's... The kill... Okay, this is going to sound really wrong, and hopefully this doesn't go wrong. It's not the killing, okay? Not that I condone that or believe in any of that. Like, I hate watching shows about abused children. I hate watching shows about children who are, like, made fun of or have a hard time in society.
But those are real life situations, not fictions.
Yeah. I mean, it's the real life stuff. Like, I can separate myself from movies to an extent, but like there's this TV show. Not even a TV show. It's a Netflix show.
It's a TV show. They're pretty much
I think it's called
now.
Atypical. The dude's like on the spectrum. autism spectrum. I'm dealing with a child with autism. Like, there are some really heartfelt moments. I'm laughing a lot because, like, this guy has this adult. He's 18, 19. He's going to college. Like, he has high functioning autism. They don't really do Asperger's. They don't have those classifications anymore. You're just on the spectrum, but it's pretty much Asperger's. I have a kid who's pretty much that, very high functioning autism, and like I see a lot of similarities. So I laugh, I cry, I do all this stuff because like I can relate to that. I hate people that abuse their kids. I can't read news stories about it. It's the real life stuff. Like if it's like this is like a horror story. Like it's not like these kids are abused and then these monsters show up and kill them. I would have more problem with the abuse because I can't imagine myself ever doing that to a kid, or why you would ever want to hurt something so precious. Another thing I have a problem with is people overdosing around their kids. Like that is horrifying. Like you have a child, if you are not, and then this might sound wrong too, but like if you're not fit to take care of that child, you need to find somebody who can, whether you put them up for adoption or whatever, and you can argue that that's even worse. But I'm sorry, overdosing in the front seat of a car with your kid screaming in the back seat is disgusting. It's heartbreaking. Those kids don't deserve that. You hear, all right, I'm not going to rant about this.
This is a rant. It
yeah,
works.
Yeah,
so
but we're talking about comics. So like,
but if that was in a comic, would you be able to deal with it?
I don't know.
Like,
I might even take it harder then, because I find myself. It depends on how good the comic is. Let's put it that way.
Well,
because
Spencer and Locky had that as one of its main threads. So did that Happy comic.
Yeah.
And there was the Swamp Thing special with the kid, the winter special.
Okay, that one, not as bad. I was sad at the end of it because I thought it was a rather touching story. Happy was a tough read. But I think the emotional connection there was good for me. Like, it depends on how good the writing is. Like, if you were to tell me at this point, like, am I going to start crying? I don't know. I don't have enough of a connection there yet.
Oh, yeah. The James guy's kind of flim-flammy.
Yeah. I mean, there's some flimsy characters in here. I'm not saying, like, this is lock, stock, and barrel a great thing. I also have, like, a question about Snyder and Tynion's obsession with aquatic animals. Octopus here. You got Undiscovered Country with all the aqua animals. Call back to last week's.
It's like 2 weeks ago.
Nah, that was last week.
Undiscovered Country was?
Yeah. Pretty sure. Because we
right.
did that with Watchmen and... Oh, maybe not. Okay, 2 weeks.
I was pretty sure it was 2 weeks.
Who knows?
Yeah, because last time was ufology and Doomsday
Oh,
Clock.
yeah, you're right. We didn't do any new stuff. Anyway, like, I can't say I have a connection, that close of a connection with these characters, so maybe that's why I'm, like, skimming past kids dying and just being like, okay, that's cool.
Fucking kill them all! Yeah, that is kind of an issue. Like, a lot of kids have died already, but you don't actually get to know them whatsoever to actually care. Besides the basic premise, like, you shouldn't be killing kids or kids dying is a big thing. You just see the repercussions that it's having on everybody else around those children, which is pretty heartbreaking. Like, the brother, this dad, like...
Yeah, I'm not saying I don't care, but like you said, you're not actually forming any connection with these characters, so until something happens to the Monster Hunter or flimsy-ass James, like, and even if something happened to James, I don't know that at this point I necessarily care about him enough. I'd be the Monster Hunter. I'd be like, no, I want to know what the fuck's going on. Don't kill her. But, I mean, we've yet to really see a monster and what it can do. I mean, we see the aftermath of the monster. We saw a shadow of the monster. or the monster was a shadow.
We've seen the monster. Like issue 1,
Yeah,
issue 2,
but
they
like,
showed the monster. This is how I think they should have introduced the monster in this third issue, where you don't actually ever see it. You just see it like running around. You see it kinda, but you don't get the full aspect of what it is. This is a very good, horrific.
But is it the same monster?
Well, that's the question.
Yeah.
Well, technically it is.
I mean,
You would
yeah, I
think
guess so. Yeah, you would think so.
They're
Yeah,
saying
that's
that
good.
it's raised up from its wacky ass class to an even wackier ass class. The kill pattern is now consistent with the Class B Askira type than an A Class E. Whatever the fuck that means, Mr. Octopus.
Yeah. I need more answers on this one. Like, I'm not off the boat, but I'm just kind of hanging with it at this point.
Well, you'll read it because I'm tossing it to you.
Well, also the podcast.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I think there's something up with that image of the dragon getting speared through.
Oh.
But I don't know what. It's a coat of arms thing. I know back in Kohler they had something at the fire department with a dragon, like a wyvern is maybe what it is. Getting
A wyvern?
Yeah, that's the word. I'm low on my D&D fantasy lingo at the minute.
Oh, you're good. I'm surprised I pulled that out of my ass.
No, there's some similar to this entity getting speared. I don't know. Because obviously it's kind of important because it's the logo that they're using on the back of every single issue.
Didn't notice that. All right.
You don't read the back panel?
Duly noted. I'm not going to lie. I was kind of taken aback by the Power Rangers Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles crossover going on.
Oh, is that in this one?
I mean, it's there. That's why I said, I'm like, what the fuck? Is there anybody the Turtles won't team up with?
I think they hooked up with the Teenage Mutant, or not, the Turtles hooked up with the Turtles, with the Transformers.
They did. They also hooked up with Batman. Coming to a comic book shop near you, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles team up with Barney, the dinosaur.
That'd be pretty cool.
Okay.
A crazy-ass, psychotic Barney.
I was going to keep going with, like, dumbass fucking references, but
keep
you
going.
Killed it.
It could be
Teenage
fun.
Mutant Ninja Turtles team up with Dora the Explorer.
That's not as exciting. Yeah, it's not a good one. Come up with good ones. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles team up with Godzilla. Boom. With the Ghostbusters.
I'm mocking this shit. Like, the Ninja Turtles.
It's cool potential, though.
Oh, my God. I mean,
team-ups are fun.
Dude, so I watched... We're going to go on a little sidetrack here, and we'll come back around. I watched...
We do that here?
Netflix.
We don't do that.
We never do that. I watched Netflix, The Toys That Made Us, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was one of the things, and it's...
Wait, they teamed up? Nice.
Hold on. Was it Martin Laird, right? I believe? I
have no clue what you're talking about.
I'm going to sound like a fucking dumbass. I know the one dude's Laird. Hold on. Vamp for me for a minute.
You're trying to figure out who actually created these things?
The Google machine. The Google machine.
I don't know. I think team-ups are one of the greatest things ever. You can, like the DC Marvel things. Dude, there's Hellboy teams up with... He teams up with the... Fuck, whoa. Alright, we'll skip that. But Superman versus the Predators versus the aliens, Supergirl and Orphan.
Oh, wow. I got that way wrong. Okay, sorry. Continue.
Team-ups are awesome. That's what all comic books are.
Okay,
DC,
if we want to...
DC, Marvel, the team-up things can be some of the best things ever. And now you got two different companies deciding to team up together. That's good for both of them. They're just pretty much toys that get to play around in a big-ass sandbox.
We might have to cut some shit out or cut some shit down. We're going to put a pin in team-ups. I want to come back. Ninja Turtles. So, Kevin Eastman, I got that way fucking wrong. And Peter Laird. Wow. All right, so you can tell how many Turtles comics I read as a kid. Don't really care. Anyway, Laird, like, fucking... Well, okay, so first, Eastman, like, sold all his rights out to Laird on Turtles. He's just like, I'm fucking done. I don't want to do this shit anymore. And I'm pretty sure Laird sold it to, I believe it was Nickelodeon, and then whoever Nickelodeon's parent company is, I believe it might have been Disney. I don't fucking know.
No, I don't think they...
That's not Disney?
No.
Okay. Then it's
because
something...
Netflix is joining up with Nickelodeon to try to take down Disney Plus. It's a thing.
Fuck,
The Stream
I've had
Wars...
some real nostalgia for some Nickelodeon lately, so they might win that on me. Anyway, and then he was like, Laird's like, yeah, I'm never going to sell it. And then they were like, here's some money. This is what we offer you. And he's like, okay, I'm going to sell it. With the contingency that if he ever wanted to write Turtles comics again, that he could and nobody would fuck with him.
Well, that's
Well,
smart
then
negotiation.
Nickelodeon's like, all right, that's cool. You don't want to do it anymore. But Eastman will come in and do it. And now Eastman's like doing this shit. And now it seems like since that happened, at least near as I can tell with the timeline, like there's all this fucking turtle crossover, turtle this, turtle that. And I believe it's a lot of the same properties that Nickelodeon's parent company, there's a company that owns the Nickelodeon. It seems like
they're trying to get their franchise out there? Well, yeah,
Well,
Turtles make money. Turtles
get
are
it.
cool.
That's what
Kids
I'm
love
saying. That's what they
Turtles.
were saying. Dude, go watch that fucking show, The Toys That Made Us. I mean, they got like fucking... One of them was Power Rangers. One of them was Ninja Turtles. There was a My Little Pony that was fucking stupid. I mainly watched it because I'm fascinated by how anybody can be a brony.
You're a closeted brony. It's okay. You don't have to admit it on air.
Dude, you can search this house.
I know
no
you got
My Little Pony
I know you got a
memorabilia.
Rainbow Dash costume hidden up in the rafters.
If I knew what Rainbow Dash was, I'd say, yeah, I hop around in my Rainbow Dash, whatever. Like, I don't even know what that is.
Clip it.
What?
I hop around in my Rainbow Dash thing.
Yeah, that should be a sound drop.
That's gonna be one.
Okay, so we got a pin in team-ups. I want to come back to that now, because...
It's a team-ups. You don't like team-ups? How can you not like team-ups? Like, it's the basic premise of comic books. You have all these cool-ass characters, and you want them to inhabit the exact same world.
I'm getting sick of it.
Batman and Hellboy teaming up?
I don't think I'd want to see it.
No, John Constantine and Hellboy teaming up.
You
Oh,
dick.
I'll
You're
Team-ups
you're
are
a dick.
fucking awesome.
No, that would be kind of interesting. Let me put it this way. The gimmick is getting old. I'm getting sick of spending money on comic books that suck just because they pitch them as these great fucking things, as these awesome team-ups, and it's absolute shit.
Yeah, well, that's not really the problem on the gimmick. It's just on the execution of said decision.
It's a gimmick, though.
But the gimmick's cool. That's every story. Everything is a gimmick. It's trying to get you in the front door and present you this story. The execution thereof lies with the publisher and the editors and the creative teams, not the actual idea itself. Because there are tons of movies that have awesome ideas that suck. That doesn't mean the ideas suck. It just means the execution sucks. And if you were to remake that movie or comic with a good creative team, the gimmick would still be fucking awesome, and it's just the execution that needs to happen. But I get your point.
I don't think you can make Biodome good.
Biodome. What's Biodome?
You've never seen... All right, never mind. That's a lost reference. Fucking forget that. What's a shitty movie? Shittiest movie you can think of, off the top of your head.
Right now it's The Last Jedi.
Okay. I don't think they can fix that.
No, they could have.
No.
They could-
Here's what they could have done. Erase everything they fucking did and just leave it at the original 3. Now we're getting in another pin. All right. Fuck Team-ups. I'm here to tell you right here, right now, fuck them. If you're selling a book because it's a... Now, don't get me wrong. Team-ups can be cool. Swamp Thing shows up in Hellblazer. Actually, I think it's vice versa. Constantine shows up in Swamp Thing. Fucking awesome. But they didn't sell the book based on that. It was Swamp Thing. I wasn't buying a book called Batman Superman. Which fucking sucked.
You got the first one?
I got the first two.
First two, and it just fell apart. Dude,
I'm
it looks
sick
so cool.
of DC fucking touting these stupid fucking mystery stories that are not a mystery. I'm sorry.
What?
If you start a mystery in the fucking JCPenney parking lot and end up in fucking Kohl's at the end of it, it's not a mystery. You never wanted me to figure it out.
That is a weird ass allegory that you're going with. You're thinking of Christmas shopping already, aren't you?
No, I don't know. JCPenney hasn't
Yeah,
been around in fucking
yeah.
years. Okay, let me think of a new one. Let me think of a new one. When you start the mystery in Washington, D.C. and end up in fucking California, you're like, how did I get here? You would think the murder happened in Washington, D.C. It's gonna probably be within a 50 square mile radius. I mean, yeah, the guy could have jumped a jet and ended up in California. But I'm talking like, these are coming from fucking way left field. And the connections they're drawing after the fact that are saying, well, I don't think they're saying how stupid you are for, like, not figuring it out. But, like, I'm just like... There's no connection. You're basically... It's like they create this framework that creates mystery. Like, there's this stock framework that's like, oh, is it this guy? Oh, nope, it could be this guy over here. But, we don't really know. We can't put a pin in it. There's a mystery, but there's like... And there's clues, but there aren't any clues that really point to anything specific. Ever. And then they're like, it was this guy.
You just didn't know the history of the DC universe. Apparently, if you knew enough, you could actually piece it together.
I'm not even talking about Leviathan.
Oh.
I'm talking about comics I've read in the, I don't know, past 2 years. Like, this DC, like, I get it. It's Detective Comics. I get it. You like your mysteries. There is no mystery.
But
like, there
really?
is. There is a mystery, okay? We don't know who it is. Don't act like I can figure it out. I guarantee you, nobody can figure this shit out. Because they make it so vague, and I'm going to put my tinfoil hat on and get the conspiracy theory going here. They wait for people to like, oh, it's definitely this guy. We got it pegged. And then they're like, oh, pull the rug out from underneath you. Boom, this guy way over here. You didn't even see this guy coming.
But we showed him in issue 1, panel 2.
In the background, jacking off. Like, seriously.
I would love to see him do that.
I don't get it. I just... And the team-up thing, man, like, it's cool. Like, it is cool, but, like, I don't know if it's because I've been on the Justice League train for how long now, and Justice League Dark, and I didn't really do Justice League Odyssey too long, but, like, I'm burnt out. And then, like, the Batman Superman, and... I mean, Detective Comics had a lot of different things going on. You got Batman and the Outsiders. Like, everything just seems like this cash grab of, like, here's 5 characters you didn't think were going to come together. Boom! Smack you in the face. This is awesome.
You gotta read Tinian's run on Detective. He does the whole team-up thing really, really well. Not gonna lie. That's the reason I got into him in the first place. But team books... Oh, what they're doing at DC right now with the whole Batman, Superman, the Infected Justice League, it looks really cool. I'm not gonna lie. When I see articles and stuff, I'm like, holy crap, that's amazing. But I remember reading those comics too, and I sympathize and agree with you that it doesn't have the same flair as the idea behind it.
Well, and that's a really good point you mentioned, and I'm kind of curious how you feel about this, because, like, for the past couple months, like, I've actually been going back and, like, I'm saving some of the articles in my bookmarks that are like, this is a spoiler for this issue. Okay? So I don't read it until after I read the issue because I don't want anything spoiled. I like to be, fresh when I read the book. How much of the... let me put it this way, and I'm just going to make a statement and I'm going to ask if you agree. I feel like the hype built up behind these books is more about the headlines and the hype created, the hype machine that is the internet, than it is the books themselves. So, like, I can write a mediocre book, but it's going to sell like gangbusters because of all the fucking internet activity about it. And the salesman pitch. And then if, like, you said you kind of agreed with Batman, Superman. I agree. Like, I read a lot of those articles leading up to it, and I was hyped, especially coming out of Batman Who Laughs, even though by the end I was like, I'm kind of getting sick of this character. The infected thing definitely interested me. But, like, there was so much hype, so much hype, so much hype, so much hype. I read the first issue, and I felt like it fell flat. I was drinking, like, a flat beer. That's not cool.
Well, because have you ever gone to Wednesday nights at a comic book shop?
No.
So I think that's where it all begins, and the internet just sort of perpetuates that. From my understanding from listening to Comics Conspiracy, what happens at comic shops on Wednesdays is all of these people who are reading these stories get together and they talk. The same way we do when we get hyped about stuff, the same way the internet is doing it. They're like excited to see what happens. They're throwing all their conjectures, their theories, their hopes, their fears together and saying like, oh, this thing is going to be so cool. They're like, did you see the end of this issue? If you haven't read that, you got to go back and read this. It's just people getting together talking about things they love and trying to get other people excited for them. And it is fun to read, and if you've got that group to talk about it, then it's actually worthwhile. It's the water cooler talk or whatever.
Yeah, I totally agree, and I honestly think it's kind of a fucking cop-out. I personally think that it's easier today to put out mediocre shit and have that, because that comic shop thing that you're talking about, that's been going on for a long time.
Yeah, and you were saying in regards to
Pre-internet.
well, yeah, I'm saying just the internet is exacerbating the whole hype train or whatever.
I almost feel like it's allowing these mediocre stories to come out. I don't want to blame that per se.
I think they're going to just be pushing them out regardless.
Well, yeah, but I mean, don't you... I don't know. I feel like I have more on my list of things to read that came out years ago than I do, like, current stuff. And not only just because of being cash-strapped at this point. Like,
but it's a lot easier to have a list of the good shit that came out than it is to have the current list of
hindsight's
good
2020.
stuff.
I get that. I just... I don't get it. Like, the team-ups always draw this huge spectacle. And I guess if you're going to go stand around and talk about it, or like us, like, even though we kind of bash stuff or, like, pick it apart a little bit more, you especially, like, if you're not trying to perpetuate this, it's almost like perpetuating a sense of grandeur about this great comic book. And, like, you have the camaraderie there, so are you really going to be like, this fucking sucks, to, like, 10 other people?
Well, you might. There's always going to be that one person, that maybe multiple people that say this is bad. But it's a fun ride. Like, I'm kind of disappointed I got off of Justice League and didn't pick up the Batman, Superman thing, because, like, it was a really fun ride. Not gonna lie. I enjoyed every issue of Justice League except for that Hawk World stuff. That got a bit weird.
Yeah.
And nothing was really happening. But like it ends up being a lot of fun.
Yeah. But
and like I'm super excited to see what happens with the Sinister Six and Lex Luthor and his Doom, whatever, the Legion of Doom. They're fighting together and that Hell Arisen. And all of those characters that are infected look fucking awesome, except Gordon. who looks like a discount version of like Leonardo or whoever the turtle is with the nunchucks.
Oh yeah.
Like there was a cover of him just like flying through the air with two nunchucks and like a towel with two eye holes cut out.
Oh my god.
Like, what the fuck is James Gordon doing with these superheroes? Oh, he's infected because we had 7 issues with Snyder saying that that was the most important character to get fucking turned for reasons. And then he's got Shazam, Supergirl, the Beetle dude, and
Blue Beetle.
there's 2 others. I don't know offhand who they are. I don't think any of our predictions came true, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean Alfred would have been pretty cool.
Oh, yeah, because he's got his whole like MI6 training or whatever.
Yeah.
That would have been a sick.
Yeah.
What the fuck, Snyder? How
Yeah.
did you drop that?
I mean, they fucking killed him.
Yeah, it would have been
So,
perfect.
I mean, you could have just threw that in there. Because that was one of my guesses, and I thought that would have been pretty fucking cool.
That would be. Goddamn King probably fucked it up by killing Alfred.
Yeah. I don't know. I'll move on from team-ups, but, like, I'm kind of getting sick of them. That's one of the things I started canceling from the get-go. I still really enjoy Justice League Dark. I'm going to finish out Justice League. I don't know if I'm going to resubscribe when it changes hands.
Who's it changing? I saw that it was solicited and changed to somebody.
I think it's the Williams dude.
Oh,
Josh.
Flash. Yeah, the guy doing Flash.
I thought it was him. I could be wrong on that. Don't quote me on that.
I had that article saved, like the solicitations for the first 2 issues, and I was gonna ask you about it, but I got rid of it.
Yeah, I don't know. I honestly think, like, I need to see what the fuck is going to happen at the end of this to see if I even want to be a part of it anymore. I'm assuming, I don't know, unless they're going to reboot it and start fresh, but it doesn't seem like it. The numbering's not changing.
No, it's going to 39, 40.
Yep. I'm hoping Justice League Dark keeps going.
Yeah.
I will stay on that. That is a team up I can get behind. Again, I'm only in it for 2 characters. Zatanna's pretty cool, but, you know, the rest of them...
Zatanna? Bobo is awesome.
Oh, I did.
Man-Bat is pretty fucking cool, too.
I can do without Man-Bat. I can do without the fucking... What's-his-nuts? The dude with the helmet.
Dr. Fate.
Yeah, Zatanna's cool.
He's a new addition, though, so he doesn't really count as being the core team. He's just sort of there now.
He was in the original Justice League Dark.
Well, I didn't read that. I'm saying this current incarnation.
I don't know. I'm not a fan of him.
Well, yeah, neither was I. That was like
Detective Chimp is cool. Zatanna's cool. Swamp Thing, Constantine. Get rid of the rest.
You don't want Wonder Woman? The pillar of the fucking magical community?
Are we really going to do this right now? Are we gonna fucking do this? Fuck that bitch.
We're only 46 minutes in. We can keep going.
Only?
Yeah.
Only?
We can get another hour off of just that.
Oh my god, dude. You're gonna have to split this into 5 fucking things. Or I'm just gonna say Gantz was great. Let's move on. Fuck Wonder Woman. Fuck sticking these fucking characters in there just to fucking sell books. Fuck that bitch. She does not belong in there. Do not fucking tell me, oh, she's magical. Yeah, she is. Great. Fantastic. You know what? That's not how they sold her for fucking how many years. Now all of a sudden they want to sell her that way?
Hasn't she always been sold as
And I'm not
magical?
being sexist either. I like female characters, okay? I just do not like her in that book. She's a whiny ass fucking bitch.
Yeah, she's trying to get accustomed to the dark. The underbelly.
How do you feel about Wonder Woman in Justice League Dark?
She's fine.
She's fine.
She doesn't need to be there, but she's good
Thank
being
you.
there. No,
Thank you. She doesn't need to be there.
But it's good that she is there, because she is part of the magical universe, and she's never actually delved into it. I kind of want to see...
Okay, whoa. Back up. She's part of the magical universe, but she's never delved into it.
Well, no, because DC has established that there are 2 kinds of worlds. There is the superhero aspect, right? Which are people whose abilities come from scientific-y kind of reasons, or
The
they just
mutants.
yeah, pretty much. They got the Superman metagene, whatever they call it. It's actually metagene, I think.
Yeah,
in DC.
I believe so.
So they got the metagene, but then you've got characters who are using a different energy.
Batman. Green Arrow.
No, those are metagene. Well,
No.
they're
Batman's just
humans.
rich.
Yeah, so is Green Arrow.
Yep.
But they fall into that.
There's the superheroes with the legit superpowers, like I'm gonna fucking fry your ass with my eyeballs and X-ray vision and fly, and then there's the like superheroes like your vigilantes, the fucking Batmans, Green Arrows. I get the differentiation.
No. Those Batman, Green Arrow fall in the same realm as Superman and Wonder Woman.
So why not stick Batman on the team?
On Justice League Dark?
Yes. I'm
not going to say that that's a bad idea.
I don't see how Wonder Woman is tied to it. Get to that part.
But then you got the magical aspect. Like, they're more anti-heroes. The supernatural is like a whole completely different thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I like it.
But Wonder Woman toes that line because she does have that whole mythical aspect to her that falls into the preview of the supernatural. When you're dealing with gods and demigods and goddesses and centaurs and all those things, that falls into the magical realm.
Disagree.
It doesn't fall into... In Constantine, they're going to hell and heaven. Dealing with Hera and Zeus.
When you put it like that, okay. I think demons, but all right. Fair enough.
It's the same boat. It's a mythological aspect that is integral to the entire concept of the supernatural. And they've established that these entities exist in this universe. Superman doesn't like fucking around with the magical things.
But she's not an anti-hero.
Is Zatanna?
Yes.
Oh, I don't know anything
I
about
believe she is. Based on... She's come up in various... I apologize. I'm foggy. I've had a long day. In the various iterations that she showed up in different things that I've read... Yes. I mean, she's... In my opinion... Maybe not. In my opinion, she's like John's counterbalance. Like, you have John, and then you have her. And, like, they each represent a different side of the magic. My problem with, like, I get that Wonder Woman represents, like, this mythical, magical thing. She doesn't use magic, though. Like, she's not... She doesn't fit in. Like, it's just not... It doesn't work. Like, the original Justice League Dark had fucking Constantine, Zatanna, makes sense. You got Swamp Thing, he's like all elemental and shit. Again, I get it, dealing with the gods. He can like do some crazy ass shit. Maybe not dealing exactly with magic. You got Deadman. Right? Deadman's dead. Like,
it's in the name.
He's literally like a ghost. So like right there you're in the paranormal, like all that shit. And then you have Wonder Woman with her fucking lasso of truth. And, like, I don't know, man.
She ever even used it in Justice League Dark? I haven't seen her use a lasso.
I think
except in Heroes in Crisis. That's the last time I remember. And she didn't even wield it.
No.
Harley Quinn did for whatever reason.
No, I thought she used it in JLD. I don't know. Get out of my, like...
You just want it to be dark.
Yeah, I want my... yeah. Yep.
And you don't think it can be dark with her in it.
And so far, I've been proven right.
Justice League's been pretty dark. It's not the same as Justice League. Like, the Wonder Woman in Justice League and the Wonder Woman in Justice League Dark, they're not really the same character.
Okay.
in my
Which
opinion.
one is DC's version of Wonder Woman? And don't say both as a fucking cop-out. Which one do they sell to people on a weekly basis, or, well, monthly basis?
They're trying to sell the Gal Gadot version of it.
Which is more of your Justice League. Not Justice League Dark.
Yeah.
This is an example of them shoehorning a character in to sell books.
But I think it was Tinian's decision not to shoehorn her in because he thinks there's actually a story there to tell. Which there is a story there for her to be in. I think it's good that she's gone to the gone to the underbelly of the DC universe.
Oh, well, and I get it. I mean, I read Wonder Woman Year One. Like, I get where she comes from, the whole hectate thing, the whole fucking... She goes into the woods, sees the witches, all this shit. Like, I get it. I get where it's coming from. But maybe, like, I don't want this fucking white bread cutout fucking character in my rye bread sandwich.
But they needed Wonder Woman. From the story that they were telling in Justice League Dark.
Yeah,
I get it. All of the characters weren't going to come together as a team unless there was a leader. Because Swamp Thing's not a leader. Constantine's definitely not a leader.
Zatanna could be a leader.
Yeah, she could be, but she didn't want to be part of all of that stuff.
That was Tinian's choice. He wrote that. I have a bone to pick with that motherfucker.
Well, that's true. It is his choice, but I don't know anything about Zatanna, really, except she showed up in a Batman issue somewhere. She showed up in Tinian's run.
Hellblazer. Fucking John kills her dad. That right there is... I don't know. Maybe I have too much history with the characters. Maybe they're trying to bring in new readers. Maybe it's a Stan Lee thing where, you know, bring in new people and suck
Well,
their
yeah,
dicks or
you gotta have new characters. Or bring in new readers. Otherwise, the industry.
No,
will
you're
die.
right. You gotta have new characters. Why didn't you create something that was good?
I didn't say characters. That was a slip.
Yeah, no, I'm saying characters. Fuck Wonder Woman. Give me something good. Here's an idea. Take one of the existing characters and develop him into the leader that they need to be. The Justice League Dark should be like the fucking... I don't know... The gangster rap fucking shit. Like, coming out of nowhere. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I can't think of a good analogy. They should be the people rolling up, fucking doing their own thing. Like, fucking rough and tumble. Like, that's JLD in my mind.
See, the issue that I have with it, like, I have no issue with Wonder Woman being there, but I don't think she should be on the Justice League as well. That's a weird crossover that raises too many questions in my head. How is she in both of these places at the same time? I'm okay with her being on Justice League Dark because I view her as a magical entity, and I would like them to delve into that potentially crazier, darker aspect of the Amazonians and her being a child of gods.
Do you think they've done that, though?
In Justice League Dark? They started to with the Hecate thing, which Witching Hour was shit, except the second read, it makes sense, and now it's coming back around again, and I'm really digging it.
Okay, well, I'm going to ask you when this arc is done, I'm going to ask you the same question. Did they really do anything with that darker side of Wonder Woman? Because, like...
They will be planting seeds for potential stories to be told in the future.
You think? We don't know.
No, they're planting seeds. Now it's up to the next generation of writers to pluck those seeds and do something with them.
Fuck that, dude. That's a fucking cop-out, dude. That's a cop-out answer.
It's not a cop-out answer.
Yeah, it is. That's like saying I'm fucking planting the seeds so fucking 5 podcasts from now I'm going to fucking bring this up again, and I don't know.
No, they are definitely bringing a darker aspect to Wonder Woman.
No.
Yes,
No!
with the Hecate, they are bringing in a darker aspect of her. So for this story, that's going to be what happened. If they decide to continue doing that, that's
That already existed, though.
the Hecate
Yeah.
and her.
Yeah.
Well, then they're just bringing it back again because they want it to be a thing. So it already existed. So she should be there because it's part of her story overall.
No.
Yeah, if it already if it already
No!
existed, and you're saying that's bullshit because they're planting seeds, and somebody planted that seed already, and they're bringing it back, and there's a potential for it to continue going and being something entertaining and interesting.
All right,
there's dynamics that could happen with it.
All right, I'll give you that. All right, end of the day, Justice League Dark did not include her. This Justice League Dark included her to sell more books.
The first one. First Justice League Dark?
Yes. This was fucking schemed to sell more books.
No. Tinian wanted to put her in there.
And sell more books.
Everybody wants to sell more books.
Just saying. At the end of the day, I believe it was a cash money situation, and they cashed in.
So you would prefer that Justice League Dark would have gotten 6 issues because nobody bought it because Wonder Woman wasn't, and Wonder Woman wouldn't be included. But you would have gotten 6 issues, and then Justice League Dark disappears forever.
Did Tinian write it?
No, because he didn't get to include Wonder Woman, so he didn't want to write it.
Okay, so who wrote it? Story. Whoever. I mean, it depends who wrote it. Did Garth Ennis come back from the dead? Not that he's dead, but did he come back and did he write it? Because then I'd be like, oh, fuck yeah.
No, it would be some random no-name person. Like whoever's writing Odyssey. Is it a name you recognize?
Okay, so you said you had a problem with Wonder Woman existing in Justice League and Justice League Dark, but Justice League Odyssey had characters that were also existing in Justice League too. So
no, they weren't.
Who was it? Wasn't John Johns in there?
On Odyssey?
Yeah.
No. It's Azrael, Cyborg, Starfire, and a Green Lantern.
And they're all in Justice League.
Now they are.
Cyborg's been there around for a while.
When I jumped off when they were in the 6th dimension and then they were doing like crazy time travel stuff.
Yep.
Cyborg had never been there. They maybe showed up in the annual, but I don't think so.
All right, maybe. Maybe you're right.
None of those people have been there.
All right. We need to move on. I'm just saying, fuck Wonder Woman. Justice League Dark would have been fine without her.
All right.
Let's continue on.
Let's take a beer break.
Yeah, we can do that. Fucking beer breaks. You gotta hit pause, motherfucker. If you want a beer break, you hit pause. And we're back. That beer break was brought to you by the Miller High Life. Not that we're actually sponsored by them, but if you're listening, High Life, I'd take some free shit right now.
Like a couple beers. That'd be cool.
Couple beers?
Yeah,
couple
if they're
2-3 beers?
Yeah, if they're just like, yeah, here you go.
Couple 2-3.
Here's a beer for you. Oh, thanks, Miller.
You could send me some of them champagne bottles that they got out for the holiday seasons again.
Oh,
Not that I'm advertising.
Those are pretty dope.
I know. They're bringing them back.
I thought they were just always in. It's only a holiday thing?
Yeah, apparently it's a holiday thing.
Huh.
There's a big thing. Off-brand, you can buy a family pack of PBR apparently everywhere but Wisconsin, but they're bringing them to Wisconsin. It's like 100 pack of like
100 packs.
It's like a
100 cans.
Yeah, it's like a 7-foot long case of beer.
And you just go to a store and get it?
Yeah, apparently it's like a special thing they do for the holiday season.
Is it stretched out or stacked on top of each other?
It's like stretched out real long. It's a 7-foot long box.
Of just cans?
Glasses? Yep, cans.
Like one on top of each other? Is it like 2 deep,
it's
3
probably
deep?
like maybe 2 deep. It looks like a really, really long... Like, okay, so you got those 12 packs of like soda, you know?
Yeah.
You got those long boxes.
Okay, I got it.
This is a really, really long box.
How do you...
7 feet long.
So you got to have 2 people to carry that.
Yes, that's what I saw in the picture.
Because putting that in a shopping cart's not going to work. Unless you're going to go, what the fuck is that called? Javelining with it?
Jousting.
Jousting. Yeah, and you have a javelin. Right?
I think it's a joust, is what it's called.
Javelin's a kind of pig, maybe.
A pig?
Yeah. Let's look it up.
Well, I know a javelin's like what you throw in track and field.
Okay.
Which is not like a joust.
We'll agree to disagree. But it would be cool to go jousting with a javelin.
See, that's the kind of shit you get here on the Can Rant. You not only get your comic book news, you get some beer news too.
All the beer news.
All right. So what's up next on the docket? What are we doing here?
Let's go. You said you didn't have that much with Doomsday Clock?
No, I mean, let's do Gantz. We're gonna go into some uncharted territory here and see how this goes. We're gonna talk some manga.
Yeah,
because not only can you get comic book news, beer news, but you can get manga old ass news because this is pretty old. They already got Omnibus.
Yeah.
This is Omnibuy.
No, like get new manga, you gotta read it online because anything current takes time to translate. And to get published in a trade format takes a couple months to a year.
But I like the Dark Horse brand. I like that Dark Horse is doing this.
Yeah, they have a couple.
I think it's cool. Because I'm going to say this manga has fucking... Alright, so my manga experience has been on and off over the years. I got into... Little background, you are like the manga king. You've read it all. If it's manga, you are it. You are Mr. Japan.
Yeah, you know what's fun? I go every once in a while, I will go on websites and try to find new manga. And if I think it's good, I'll start reading it and I'll get pretty far along in it. And then a couple years later, I find out that everybody's loving the anime that just came out. I'm like, oh yeah, I read that manga years ago. Gantz is one of those.
That's an anime?
Gantz is? Yeah.
Oh my god.
I have
Is that on Netflix?
There was a movie on Netflix for a while that fell into continuity, but kind of wasn't. I don't know.
You said you have some of this anime?
Yeah, I think I have like the first volume somewhere.
Is it good?
It's the manga animated.
Okay. Find it.
But you don't watch television. Oh, you watch TV. You don't watch movies.
You're right.
Yeah.
So anime might fall into my thing.
Yeah.
You are Mr. Japan.
Right.
You are the one who fucking got me into manga.
No, you got me into manga.
How?
Shonen Jump.
No, the first thing I got was fucking Tuxedo Gin because you were looking at, like, I want to say Dragon Ball Z manga at Walden Books. There's a flashback for you.
Yeah, Walden Books. I miss that every time I drive back from Milwaukee, that it's not there anymore.
Where? Well, we went to the one in Sheboygan, though.
Yeah. Well, there's that one, too. There had been one on the way back from Milwaukee in Glendale.
Glendale?
Yeah, there was the one in Sheboygan. That was good. No, because like I had started reading Pokemon and Dragon Ball Z, but I got them at Toys R Us when they were distributed in like packs of 5.
Okay.
They were like comic book size.
See,
and then I went to something called Rave Master, and then you got Shonen Jump.
No, I thought I got Tuxedo Gin first.
It's a possibility.
Which was really bad. I only wanted it because it had a fucking penguin in it.
It was
I love
funny.
penguins.
It was
it was
slice
funny.
of life romance comedy.
Yeah. I'm a sucker. I'm not. We'll get into this. I'm a sucker for the romance shit. I don't know what it is. I'll lay it on the table. I don't think I've ever admitted this. I like that shit. I don't know why, but like that shit fascinates me.
Romance?
Yeah. I don't know why.
How come your comic book reading doesn't include that currently? There are tons of comics that would fall into that category that you could be reading right now. But you're reading X-Men and Batman and Justice League.
Because I really like that stuff, but like when I read manga, like I almost expect it to be in there. And I'm going to talk about that in Gantz in a bit. But okay, so Tuxedo Jin, Shonen Jump. I subscribed to Shonen Jump, and then I know you did because I was like, dude, check this out. We can get this.
Which was
like
the dopest
was
thing
it
ever.
weekly or monthly?
I thought it was monthly.
It was monthly, yeah. But like you got that was a dirt fucking cheap subscription when magazine subscriptions were
$5 or
still
something?
were still cool. Like you could get a
They
year,
were still cool.
dude. Magazine subscriptions they're fucking dead, dude.
Yeah.
It's all about the online shit. Yeah. I miss that shit. Did you notice my new glasses?
I did.
I had an eye appointment for the first time in 5 years, and she yelled at me. But she was asking me, we were talking about different glasses and stuff, and I had mentioned, she asked why I came in, and I was like, yeah, I like to read a lot, and I'm noticing I'm having trouble seeing things. So I thought maybe my prescription changed, and she's like, oh, well, what do you read? And I was like, books, books. And she's like, well, like on a tablet or a phone? I'm like, no, I have to have the physical copy. And she just laughed. She's like, you are one of the few people that still fucking does that. I personally like having the physical copy of things. Because she's like, well, I was going to recommend maybe putting the phone down and not reading on a tablet because it's harder on your eyes. Than
Bitch, I have a curfew on my phone.
I do. Yeah. I'm not going to lie, I do.
You talked about this last time.
Yeah. So anyway, I personally like the books. So the fucking magazine subscriptions, when they were still cool, I mean, you could get Shonen Jump for like $10-15 a year. Like, it was dirt fucking cheap. For a fucking thick-ass magazine. Granted, all in black and white, like manga. Is all manga like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, except when you get the actual Jump issues in Japan every once in a while, the first 3 pages will be in color. If it's a new issue or a milestone in an issue, they'll have like a celebratory color.
And that is why pages. I have you, Mr. Japan. That's what I'm going to call you now, Mr. Japan. Yeah. Anyway, so we fucking got into that, and then from there, like, sky was the limit. Anime, you got me into that shit. I fucking fell off for a long time of comics and everything. Got back into the Western comics. Really enjoy those. And now you hooked me up with One Punch Man, which is a fucking blast. Yep. Side note. If you want something just fun to fucking read and bring joy to your life, read One Punch Man.
No, that was the exact reason I got it.
It's so fun.
Yeah, every time I read that, I just feel better at the end of it.
Like, a lot of people say, like, oh, Dragon Ball Z, like, it's just fighting, and that's all this is, but it's so much fun. Like, I don't know how you can... It's like the palate cleanser for, like, some really deep reading, or, like, you are really into, like, really heavy fucking dramatic movies and, like, these... fucking big hitters of movies, but every once in a while you need to watch a comedy to kind of, cleanse the palate of this dark, brooding fucking person that you are. I just like being fun all the time.
There is like a really deep concept to One Punch Man, though. Like, what do you do if you are the strongest person? Does your life have meaning? If you just go into every fight and you win it instantaneously, and all you want to do is have a challenge, and you can never find a challenge because you've just trained so hard to be the best, and no one can ever counter you, what is the point of your existence?
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that because I kind of noticed that because I finally got to the part where there was that tournament where that he enters as somebody else, and he's like...
And he's got the wig on?
Yeah, and he's like, oh yeah, I just want to find out what martial arts is about. And the other guy's like, yeah, I just want to have fun. And they have this battle where once again he wins, but like he's disqualified, and like I'm starting to see that theme. Like, I get it. I got it beforehand, but that was kind of the slap in the face, if you will.
It took you to like issue 16 to get 14 maybe.
No, 14. It's already over.
Oh,
how about
okay.
13, 12,
I
11?
I apologize.
Fuck you, Mr. One Punch aficionado. So then I went online and was like, what is some good adult manga? Like, I want something with some more adult, mature themes. And I was like, hey, have you ever heard of a manga called Gantz? And you were like, oh, fuck yeah.
Oh, yeah. I actually got on that because of the anime. I was in Germany and was able to pick up some stuff from some random shop that we went to, like on a military base.
When the fuck were you in Germany?
High school sometime.
Really?
Yeah, I went to visit my grandma because
Oh!
she lived over there.
That's right. I forgot about that.
I got Gantz and Dead Leaves, which if you haven't seen Dead Leaves, you have to watch. It's amazing.
Coming from the guy who's like, here, watch Samurai Champloo. It's going to make you cry.
Yep.
And that was like, that's still like, not that I've watched a lot of anime, maybe only 5, so it's in my top 5. It's number 1 at this point.
So what's your top 2 then?
I mean, I've watched Gundam, I've watched Dragon Ball Z, I've watched Shaman King, I've watched Naruto. Trigun. Trigun's good. I like Trigun.
Yeah, the manga's better.
Yeah, you've told me that. Akira. I mean, I've watched some of the movies, different things. So, I mean, I guess I'm already past 5. But
Yeah.
it's definitely, like, top 3 for sure. Like, Samurai Champloo, like, I don't want to say changed my life, but definitely was like, holy fucking shit, this is awesome. I remember sitting in my dorm room eating like a cousin's sub between classes, like, I can't stop watching this and like looking at the clock like, fuck, I gotta go to class and turn it off and go. And by the end I was crying. Like, you formed such a connection with these characters, which is really, I know I'm going to sound like a dumbass here because you've been saying it for a while now on all these podcasts. Like, oh, yeah, I didn't feel a connection with the characters. You know, I'm a Mr.
I'm a
educated. No, I'm not saying you're a comic snob. You're a fucking literary educated person. Like, you know how to pick apart a story way better than I do. Because I'm like, X-Force. Fuck yeah. I'll read that shit. That's a fun fucking ride.
Well, I'm sure it's fun, but...
Yeah, but you can find deeper meaning in things than I can. I know you say once in a while I blow your mind. I think...
Watchmen was one of them. Fucking Something's Killing the Children is another one.
Yeah.
I'm still fucking pissed
Yeah,
about
where
that.
all of a sudden I just... it wasn't
1.
Watchmen, it was Watchmen, it was Doomsday Clock.
Oh, yeah, Doomsday Clock.
Yeah, Watchmen. Yeah, there was something I said.
correlating.
I don't even remember what I said, and you're just like...
We'll-
you fucking whip that out on me now?
We'll get into that when
Okay.
we talk about that. I'll remember.
Okay,
it.
so anyway, Gantz. We're fucking all about this shit. I'm going to let you fucking lead this one because you are Mr. Japan.
All right. So, I was very interested to find out what you would feel about actually reading something that had explicit content on it, parental advisory. And then I remembered that you read Preacher, and then it kind of didn't matter anymore.
Oh, I read Preacher. I read Lost Girls. I read a lot more fucked up shit than that.
But so yeah, hyper-violent comics and movies are kind of a thing I really like. Like the mainstream comics are kind of censored, watered down, but I really like to see like somebody's brains exploding. It's kind of cathartic for me. Like, as fucked up as that sounds, like, it's fun, because then it actually shows stakes. Like,
Can we just pause for a second?
sure.
In this episode... No. In this episode alone, I have said killing kids doesn't really affect me like child abuse does. And now you've said I really want to see people's brains explode. This is fucked up.
No, it's just because coming from like video games, you see like people dying a lot, like movies and stuff. You see somebody die and they just kind of like fall. There is not that actual impact, that gratuitous nature to it. Especially when you're talking about horror, you want to like get uncomfortable.
What about Kick-Ass?
Kick-Ass doesn't fall into the same genre of comic book movies that I was talking about.
Oh,
but
okay.
yeah, Kick-Ass does have that violence. Like, I don't know, if you're gonna show somebody getting killed, you should show them getting killed to actually not sugarcoat it. Not sugarcoat death. Like, there are repercussions for when you pull the trigger.
Do you feel like it adds more weight to the situation, to the content?
Yeah, because otherwise it's Looney Tunes.
Okay. Continue.
Otherwise, you can just fucking get run over by a car, turn into a pancake, and like you're totally okay, and you can get up and walk away again. In this, when you see somebody's brains explode, you know for certain they're dead. They're not coming back. In that issue.
Yeah, I mean, so if your question is what I thought about it, even though I had already read Preacher, it's a level above that.
Oh, is it? I thought Preacher was pretty fucked up. How is...
Okay, so Preacher is fucked up. Themes?
Dude blows his fucking brains out and turns into ass face. That's pretty fucking explicit.
Yep.
And I thought they showed him blowing his brains out. Or attempting to.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but like, there's a difference between something happening like once in a story arc and like
every other issue.
Yeah. And not only that, but the gratuitous sexual themes, nudity, like
wait,
all of that shit.
That made you uncomfortable?
No, I don't fucking mind it at all. I'm a fucking sucker for romance, which is kind of why I wanted to bring this up. Like, that love story in there, while it brings stakes to the story, kind of seems pointless. And if you, like, in the Omnibus, like, there's like a couple pages about some of the other stuff he's written.
Yeah.
Almost,
he does hentai stuff.
Yeah, and I'm just like, okay, so this guy's like super into porn. Kind of explains the Gantz shit. Kind of explains why there's this love attraction or love triangle story going on in like a very serious death situation. Which I was gonna ask you about this. Like, granted, there are those themes in other books, movies, TV, but like the Japanese seem to like mix that like it's like Jack and Coke or some other like mixed drink. Like, they just go great together. Like, they don't see that as weird. And I'm like, either, at least in American comics or Western comics and like Western television, and like you either have like this hyper violent thing, which it's not, it does, I'm not saying it even comes close to the way the Japanese do it. Believe me, it does not. But like, at least in anime, manga, comics, all that shit. But like, it's either one or the other in the Western comics, or maybe like there's this very action-packed with a twist of the love story. You could maybe say like James Bond or something like that.
Those
are
like, weak love stories, but like I get
and that's what I'm saying. Like this manga is like a very extreme thing. Like, there's a moment like dudes fucking the chick right there before they go in and start fucking hunting aliens, and it's like nothing. Even though like I got kind of dropped off on the second Omni buy, that kind of sucked. But
yeah,
how do you how do you I don't know, how do you explain it? Like, is that what attracts you to it? Like, what do you think about that? Let's just leave it real vague. Like, what do you think about like these really really high stakes situations with these love stories going on? Like, it almost like feels like life on meth. Not that I've ever done meth, but like there's like this is like fucking pretty hyped up.
I think you could say that about any manga. It's just life on meth. But this is exploring a high school kid who's just hit puberty and is trying to come to terms with relationships, life. He's going to graduate. He feels like a loser because he hasn't had a girlfriend. He's not great at school. He's just like an average person. But then he goes into this other world.
Quote unquote dies in front of a train.
No, I think they died.
Okay, he dies. And now it's almost like he's
given a second chance.
Yep. But he's got to earn it.
Yeah.
In this hyper-violent game.
Yeah. But is it a game?
Killing aliens. Yeah.
Is it a game?
Is it a game?
I don't know yet either. I'm way farther ahead on this than you, and all I know is aliens. That's all I know.
It's always fucking aliens.
Yeah. But no, doesn't that make it a much better story? Like, that's what you want out of life. You want there to be love in your life, and you want there to be obstacles that you can overcome. And you have to navigate these fucking very intricate situations, and you're always aspiring towards that goal of getting happiness, to overcoming those obstacles and getting love. And I don't know, I think that's what makes a good story, is you got to have both of those aspects, and you can't focus on one and negate the other.
Like, as well as acceptance. I want to add that. Like, he's looking, there's also the theme of I can't remember the main character and the dude that the chick's in love with that he's pissed off about.
Kato.
Like, there's a dynamic between them where who's the kid? Kai used to be like Kai. He used to be like this really brave dude to Kato, and now like the roles are reversed a little bit, and it feels like Kai is like going for the acceptance of Kato now that they've kind of switched roles. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, I think in like regular life, Kato has actually like reached, like, he wanted to be like Kai, so he actually became like him. But he's also very humble, and he's a very humble person. He looks out for the weaker individuals, and he isn't looking for his own personal gain, where Kai was that brash, aggressive kid who had no fear, and then he got bogged down with real life and the monotony, and he doesn't have that option to go there. But Kato kind of reminded him that in these certain situations, he's the one that has to, or can overcome the obstacles that nobody else can.
And you really start to see that as the story progresses, that Kai is able, like, he's very hesitant at first, and by the end of the second omnibus,
wouldn't you too?
Well, yeah, but I mean, he's very, which is weird, like, he's all about fucking that bitch. But, like...
Kishimoto?
Yeah. He is very forthcoming about that. Like, no fucking doubt about that. But yet, he's very hesitant in the game. Is it a game? Whatever. But towards the end of the second omnibus, he's like, I'm fucking taking this bitch out by myself. Yeah. Not the chick, but the bitches. The
giant Buddha statues.
Aliens.
Yeah. Well, no, I think... that's another thing that happens with manga. They build up the story. You don't see the character at their peak and then getting broken down. They build up to them understanding what's going on. And like from a storytelling perspective, you got to have that. You couldn't just have them running around just straight up being badasses and killing anything, and for you to understand what's going on. Where here you start out, they're just like regular kids, and then they're like tossed into this game where they have to kill or they're going to die.
So I wanna talk to you about that too. Like, this is kind of a general thing in manga, in my opinion. Maybe I haven't read enough. Manga is so succinct, and I feel like it does more with the visuals and the dialogue together to progress the story than in Western comics. And I want to know if you agree or disagree and why. But like, there is not. I will say Gantz has more dialogue than some manga I've read, but manga feels very like we're talking a pretty deep story right now, right? And if you read this, like, what okay, so the Omnibus is like 3 of these volumes, correct?
It's like 600 pages, something like that.
Okay. I can read that in about an hour.
Yeah.
To read 600 pages of Western comics, like, I don't think you can do that in an hour. And,
no.
And I just want to know, one, do you agree that they, with less words, do they do it better? And 2, is it more enjoyable that way?
So I was actually thinking about that when I went to go get my comics this week. Where I was like, God, I'm gonna go buy all these comics, and I ended up getting like 11 comics, and I read them in maybe 2 hours or whatever. But I really wanted to just go get a lot more of Seven Deadly Sins, 'cause yeah, there is a component about manga where the story is just progressed through panels as opposed to just lots of talking about nothing.
I feel like there's more gravity in the manga than there is in the Western comics. Like, something. Okay, so let's take Something is Killing the Children. Like, we both agree this is pretty cool. Mm-hmm. It's a very cool concept. Like, there's gravity to it. I don't think they moved as fast, as well, or have created as much drama as, like,
the first couple issues of
Gantz? The first volume. Do you call these volumes? I don't know.
Yeah.
The first volume of Gantz, I was just like, whoa, holy fucking shit. I stayed up late to read the second one. Yeah. Like, I'm just like, goddamn, I gotta fucking read another one.
They might just have the formula down better on how to actually... Because every issue always starts with... Well, not the first issue, but like subsequent issues always starts with like kind of a recap, getting you back into it, but then it always ends with a cliffhanger that you want to see. And like Western comics do it as well, because that's like the format, but I don't know if it's the fact that these come out weekly or when you're reading a trade, it just like makes you keep going because you're excited to see what happens next, where Western comics you gotta wait a month, so that impact has to be greater.
Well, and that's something we should say too. Like, you and I have both we've had many conversations about, do we buy the floppies or do we wait for the trade? Because Western comics can do that when you have a trade. Like, I've stayed up late reading those too, where I'm just like, oh, I can't put this down, I'm gonna read more. But like, I don't know what it is. Like, there is something about manga, and maybe we're just reading good manga, I don't know what, but like, I shouldn't say we. Maybe you're just feeding me the good shit.
Well, that's what I'll do. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and I get that, but like, there's there's so much gravity created in these very few words and pictures, and Gantz has more dialogue than some of the other manga you've given me. I mean, like, One Punch Man's pretty quick, pretty easy, but like even still, like this stuff is like at a pretty good clip, but yet it builds up so much, and you feel connected to the characters, and you get this sense of movement of the story. You don't get these like
Maybe it's just they're more relatable. Because you can see yourself as a high school student. You remember all that shit. Even like in Trigun, you can kind of like. Maybe Trigun's a bad example. But like you can see, like that's one of the things about manga is it always appeals to that demographic, that high school demographic. Because in Asian cultures, for the most part, from what I understand, like high school is the best time of your life. That's when you can be a kid and do whatever you want, and you don't have to deal with you don't have to worry about like real life stuff. The world is your oyster and you can figure it out. But then you grow up and you are stuck in a job that you have to work 80 hours a week over in like Japan and Korea. But high school, that's when your potential is there. And that's what all those manga artists, like that's geared to. That's why you got the Shonen Jump. And almost all the stories, whether it's regular life or fantasy life, takes place in a structure that is school-like. And so, like...
That's a good point. I've noticed that now that you mention that.
But then, like... Something Killing the Children maybe is not a good example, but, like, a lot of DC, Marvel stuff, like, can you really relate to Tony Stark, or Batman, or Hal Jordan, or Oliver Queen, or Clark Kent? Like, you don't relate to them. There may be, like, a focal point of something you want to be, but you can't relate to them on an interpersonal level. Maybe the lower level Street Fighter kind of people you can. Like, your Constantine you can relate to. But the main pinnacle franchises people, like, you can't...
I don't think I relate to Constantine on the level that I relate to like Kai or what's the other dude?
Kato?
Kato. Sorry, I'm really sorry. Or Kato or
Kishimoto?
no. That's a good point. Like everything's set around like that school age.
Yeah.
I've never noticed that until you said
almost every single manga.
So it's almost like a nostalgia, and we both know. Like I just said, man, I'm on a Nickelodeon fucking nostalgia kick. You know, nostalgia can take you back. It definitely pulls your heartstrings too, in a good way, bad way, happy, sad, whatever. Yeah. No, it's a
Well, no, that's another thing about like the manga. Like all the characters seem more human. The reading, well, at least like the main two publishers.
So let's talk about that. Like these people are very clearly human, right? And they die. That's what we think. We don't know. They die. They go to this room. There's this ball called Gantz.
Yeah. Which, actually, in German, it means, like, herder of geese.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, that's...
I looked it up, because I was looking online, and I saw that there was some dude whose last name was Gantz, and I was like, what? That's an actual last name? So I looked up just the meaning of the last name, and it means, like, to gander. Like, to be a ganderer.
Okay.
To herd geese. I was hoping there would be some correlation between this, but I'm kind of lost on.
What about the fact that they're herding the dead together?
I saw that, yeah.
I mean, that's interesting. Okay, so you got this ball. let's just kind of talk this concept through. We got this
Yeah,
ball called Gantz.
After they die, they end up going to this room, and
Yep.
it's not just them; it's a bunch of other people who died that exact same night, at that exact same hour. They show up in this room with this
Unless
ball.
they'd been there before.
Right.
Okay.
Then they show up, and there's a ball that tells them they have to go kill a certain kind of alien, and it opens up, and they have all of these weapons they can choose from, and they have a suitcase that has their name on it, that has their suit that gives them superpowers.
And that's the interesting part. And I think that's where you're getting to the relatable aspect. You have normal Joe Schmoes that die. They get these suits that essentially give them super strength, we find out as we go on. And they have these weapons that can kill these aliens. Gantz gives them a mission, which is to kill an alien, 2 aliens. Sometimes it gets fucking crazy, like at the end of the omnibus of the second omnibi.
It just always gets crazier.
Well, yeah, okay, yeah. It always gets crazier than the previous one, but like, you don't. And this is the one thing about manga that's cool is this is all original. So it's not like the same guy writing Batman, or not the same guy, but like different people writing Batman over the years. This is all new characters. So like I'm reading One Punch Man, which is his own character, and now I'm reading Gantz, which they're their own characters. And like it's a strap in fucking raise the stakes every single fucking issue. And you don't know them, so you're getting to know them. Now, granted, indie comics do this. You know, you have characters that you're just being introduced to for the first time. But I've never read something, and maybe it's just Gantz, but I've never read something where that connection was as quick.
Really?
Really. Now, I love Swamp Thing, but like I can't really connect with the fucking plant.
No?
Love the character.
You love plants too.
I do love plants. I love the fucking ecosystem and nature. I love all that shit. Like that's my jam. I like doing that type of stuff. But like on a human level, like you said, I can relate to Constantine a little bit here and there. Like I like paranormal shit, but like it kind of ends there. Like I don't know, this and maybe their formula works, like you said, it kind of takes you back. There's a nostalgia factor there, and you kind of connect with the characters like from the get-go. And it doesn't take you long to get into the meat of the fucking situation and still have enough background and understanding to go for the ride.
Yeah.
It's like
you're kind of like getting as much information that you need. You're getting the exact same information that the characters are. So you're just like strapped down on the ride with them. Which is what, with the Justice League Dark thing, is what I think they were trying to do with Wonder Woman. Like, you gotta have that character who doesn't understand any of the stakes in this world, and you gotta go with them. Like, that was the same thing they did with Star Wars. Like, you're pretty much Luke Skywalker. Like, you understand nothing about the world, and then you get thrust into it.
Or the Grant Morrison theory on things. You're strapped into that roller coaster, you're going for a ride. You'll figure it out as you go.
Yeah, but Morrison is kind of like, we're gonna throw you to the fucking wall.
Yep.
And hope you can go through it.
Yep.
Manga tends to start you like at least a couple feet away from the wall. It's like, okay. all right, this is what's gonna happen. You can see it coming.
They explain that you're gonna be thrown into the wall. Grant Morrison's like, bam, you're in the wall. You don't even know.
You're already past the wall.
Yeah. No, I wanna say, like, for somebody who, it's fun reading. Like, it's, looking back, like, I'm reading this stuff, I'm like, oh, this is fucking awesome. Like, we were having a pretty deep conversation. Like, there's a lot of depth to something that can be very, very simple at surface level. But the concepts and the ideas and the themes are very much, like, everything you're saying, and I feel like I'm bringing up some decent points, but like everything you're saying is like, oh yeah, you know, that is there, and it's done elegantly. It's not crammed down your throat.
No. I don't know. I don't understand. Like, there's a thing about beats, like panel layouts and stuff, that I just like a lot more in manga than like Western. Like, Western feels very self-contained, like points. Sometimes there's longer points, but manga just seems to flow, like
From panel to panel.
yeah, like
Page to page.
It feels more alive.
It's very fluid.
Yeah.
There's a lot more, like, action. Like, dude going in for a punch, there's like 3 or 4 panels doing that. Not always, but like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's more to it. But you know there's well, one, it is longer.
Yeah.
An issue is longer than like a Western comic.
Well,
But, like,
a single issue isn't a single. Well, in I think it's like 18 pages. Yeah, it's about 18 pages, a single issue.
Less is more then, I guess.
Yeah.
Like I said, I read. Okay, so you get the volume. I read the first issue of Gantz, and like I was like, oh, I gotta see where this goes. Like, you can usually tell in a first issue, like, this is for me or it's not. Manga, like, I don't know. And you're passing me good shit, I get that, but, like, I think you got a good point with the flow of panels.
Yeah.
The flow of panels, maybe that's why they can do with less dialogue.
Well, yeah, because one of the main concepts of, I don't know, like, one of the things that was really important of why Bleach was so good, the Kira Toriyama, the guy who did Dragon Ball Z, was like, you are telling the story through the fighting. Like, that is the key thing. You are telling the characters' motives, hopes, aspirations, what their stakes, like, through the fighting. Like, you don't technically need words. The words are there to help give background and information, but, like, it's the actual fist-to-fist storytelling that perpetuates the overall plot.
Is that kind of a metaphor for life? You're fighting for life, you're fighting for your stakes, you're fighting for your goals, you're fighting for your love.
Yeah. I don't know why. I don't know why not. Like, because that's one of my main things that I'm always really pissed about, like, Western comics, is that I want to see these people fucking fight, and you only get, like, a panel of Batman punching the villain, and then it's over.
With the exception of Hellboy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I really like Hellboy.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I read Hellboy, like, real fucking quick because I quickly realized, like, this is just fighting. But yet, you're still forming the connection. The stakes are there, if not higher. I mean, you are literally... And maybe there's something to be said for that. Like, as opposed to, like, Western comics where you have, like, this... It's almost like you're taking an above-down view of the situation, as opposed to, like, you're in fisticuffs fighting for your life, right?
Yeah.
Because that's what you and I do every day. We're fucking trying to scratch out an existence. We're fucking scratching out this podcast. We're scratching out a living. We're trying to pay our bills. We're trying to create relationships, do all this shit. And, like, comic books is just like, yeah, we're doing that. Here's the fight. Done. Like, whereas, like, Hellboy is a prime example of this. I don't know how much he was influenced by manga, but, like, it seems very apparent.
I think very little. Based on his age.
You know what? I think it's great that he did what he did, because I really do think, and it kind of just dawned on me now, like, maybe that's why it is so relatable. You are literally fighting, like Gantz. This dude is fighting to to see this girl another day. He is waiting
it's
for himself to be
relatable stakes.
transported to this room. And it's the same thing as us. We fight through to see another day. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and maybe that's why the fight scene, it's the same thing with One Punch Man. Very simple, very funny, comedic. Like, there's a lot of funny moments in there, but at the end of the day, I know you got your deeper theme of the, what happens when you train and, you can beat everybody. But, like, at the end of the day, you're fighting for the next day. He's trying to eke out a living. He's trying to become a hero so he can get paid for it. He's trying to eat. He's trying to, do whatever it is he's doing. That relatable sense, I mean, like you said, can you really relate with Bruce Wayne or Tony Stark?
Well, those are kind of bad examples.
I wish I could.
Well, those are kind of bad examples, but like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe Western heroes just have their base characters are more grandiose than is actually attainable by the reader.
But let's also look at what they're fighting for. Like, I think that is a pretty good theme to kind of continue. So these guys are fighting for another day. They're fighting for their loves.
They're fighting for their fucking life.
Yeah, in Gantz, it's literally fighting for your fucking life. What's Batman fighting for?
The city.
Yep. I personally don't fight for my city. I vote. I try to be active in my community the best I can. But at the end of the day, I'm looking out for me.
Oh, he's also fighting for an ideal. They bring that up in the newest Batman.
Yeah,
I don't know if you read it yet.
I get that, but it's not. It's more, like you said, it's more grandiose.
Right.
This is more personal. I'm pointing to Gantz, or I'm pointing to manga. It's more personal, and I think it goes back to what you said, setting it where it is, having these characters where they are in their lives. Now that you said it, I've noticed it. Even, like, Samurai Champloo, well, it kind of does, but, like, you have people of all different ages, like, it's a livelihood.
They're just wanderers trying to get through life. Like, they're trying to find themselves and where they fit in.
And
like Western
characters. I
characters.
don't see that in any Western characters.
Well, no, it's pretty much they're just trying to keep their status quo.
And I would like to say, like, we're talking, like, main shit. We're not talking indie stuff where we have these different characters. Like, I think it's just a difference in why comics were originally created. I mean, if you look at Western comics, like, that comes out of, like, when did they start?
That
40s?
comes out of, like, the Depressions, man.
Depressions?
That comes out of, like, people not having jobs, and they were, like, just trying to write stuff, comics, to make a living, and their stories were about entertaining and giving people, like, hope.
Exactly. You're not trying to relate to someone on a level. You're creating something else.
Yeah.
War times. I mean, World War II. I'm sure that was a big thing too. Yeah. I mean,
like,
you look
Batman and Superman fought Nazis a lot.
Yep. Captain America.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at this stuff, and American stuff is always like, you said it perfectly, this grandiose thing. And manga is more personal. I think I like that. I don't know about you. Clearly.
Yeah, well, like I was saying, I wanted to go get more manga as opposed to go get more comics.
So next week on Two Manga Can Rant,
we have officially changed in the course of one episode.
Fuck the comics. Yeah. Fuck the comics. All right.
Well, no, the comics are still good.
No, I like them, but it's different reading. It depends on what you need.
Yeah.
You know. I think I need a beer break though.
Nah. Beer break.
And we're back from cold as balls, Wisconsin winter.
It's not that cold yet. It's only 32.
Only.
It could have been so much worse.
Dude, I scraped like an inch of frost off my car this morning, and it was like fucking 6:45. That shit should have been melted.
But you're not parked in the sun, are you?
Yeah, it was pretty sunny out.
It's 34 degrees. It's not even freezing. That's why I was going to be out there without a coat. I have been acclimated now, finally, to like what cold weather is.
How so?
How so? It's 34. You can go out in shorts. It's okay. No problem. You gotta at least get down to like 20.
So-
then you need a jacket,
so if
for sure.
Anybody listens to this podcast ever,
It'll happen.
it someday. Looking back, when you guys go through all the fucking old episodes here,
We see ya.
yep,
Thank you.
Wisconsin, we fucking grill when it's snowing. We wear shorts until all year round. Some people.
Usually until Christmas.
Some people who haven't had hypothermia. We grill in the snow all year round. Doesn't matter. For you folks out there that don't have to deal with snow, fuck you.
Dude, I go outside barefooted sometimes.
You are ballsier than I.
When Oscar has to go piss and it's like bright and early in the morning, I don't want to fucking dick around with putting shoes on. Dude, man, just has to go out for like a minute. I can stand on the frozen porch.
Get some of the
Somac.
snooks.
They're snooks.
Yeah, snooks.
No, they are nice. They look like nice lounging shoes.
Yeah, they're my technically they're my water park shoes when we go down to the Dells.
They work for winter too.
But I rock them pretty much all year round as long as it's not wet out. It's just like a fucking fully enclosed toe sandal.
Wait. They're your water park shoes, but you don't wear them outside if it's wet.
Well, okay, let me rephrase that. When it's cold and wet, I don't wear them outside, but like summertime, anything goes. Like now I wear them with socks. And everyone's like, oh my god, sandals and socks, that's fucking fashion faux pas.
But they're not
Number
sandals.
1, I don't give a fuck about fashion. No, they're considered a sandal.
They're not sandals.
Okay.
They're slip-ons.
Closed toe sandals. They don't have a heel. You just boom.
Yeah, they're slip-ons.
Okay, whatever.
They're not sandals.
Whatever. I like wearing them to the grocery store personally. That's
With socks on.
Yep.
Getting ridiculed.
Yep. Well, I wear pants, so you can't tell that I have socks
hope you
on
wear
unless
pants.
you look really close.
Not that you're just running around in your boxers.
I meant as opposed to shorts, jackass.
Uh,
All right.
so Doomsday Clock, number 3 and number 4.
Countdown to number 12.
Which is coming. Did you see on CBR they actually have a preview for it? They
Sure.
actually have a preview for issue 12 if you want to read it. I did not want to read it. I want to go in fresh.
Can I side rant for a second?
Take a shot.
So, CBR, I mentioned this a little bit earlier. I have not actually looked at it all week this week.
Oh, you didn't miss anything.
That's not the point, man. The point is,
We'll get to it.
I am sick of the internet hype.
Yeah, you mentioned that earlier.
I just... Why?
That's their business model is to get you excited to get clicks.
Can I ask you a question?
No.
All right.
Yeah. And that has been 2 Can Rant. Thank you.
Fuck Doomsday Clock. 3 and 4, fuck you. Is it my age in that, like, yes, I had the internet, but I didn't really have good internet for a long time because I wasn't in a position, like, I had good internet at your house. I went over to your house a lot and fucking surfed the internet, but, like, is it a...
You mean good connection? I don't know
Yeah,
what you mean
yeah.
by good
That's what I
internet.
mean. But like, is
In
it
the
a
past.
is it a sense of like like kids nowadays, like they don't know what life without the internet is, whereas opposed to we know what life without the internet was. Is that my nostalgia, which we just talked fucking incessantly about, which was really good. Good point. But like, is it that where I want not so much stuff in my face?
What, with the hype train?
The hype train, the news, like there's this idea about a 24-hour news cycle and like let's call it real news, world news, like important shit, but like they do it with everything where I'm like,
Oh no, there is a whole aspect of existence that is now never going to actually occur for kids, for anyone growing up now. Like there is never going to be that moment of silence, that moment of disconnect. We have to actually call it disconnect, where you actually are integrated into the real world. I was thinking about that too, because I did not want a smartphone, and I like actually hate having a smartphone, because now the first thing I do when I wake up is I turn on that screen and I scroll stuff that is completely irrelevant. Where before it would be I'd wake up and go take my morning cigarette, like disconnected from existence, just in my own little world. And I think there's something good about that, and there's something bad about that. There are good aspects about having technology where it is, but yeah, that news cycle and just like constantly getting drip fed the existence that you think is important kind of skews your reality.
well, it's not only the news feed, but like you are constantly in connection with somebody or multiple people on your phone. Like,
Yeah, the
so,
conversation
so,
never actually ends.
so we're in our 30s. I'm 32. You're 32, correct?
Yeah, we're the same age.
Okay, just
We,
checking.
we have been for a while.
Okay, just checking. So
At least a
let's
couple of years.
let's back it up. Let's back up what, like 15 years, right?
Yep.
Let's go, yeah, 15 years. Maybe 17. Like when we first met, like I still called you on a landline from a landline and left you messages. We talked at school.
We set up our plans at school for the weekend.
Yep. We set up everything on the weekend. If we didn't, we called each other. And, like, there was no communication between then and the next day or then and whenever somebody returned a phone call. Like, now I'm like, dude, did you check this out? I'm texting you, like, hey, I just read this. Or, hey, did you read this? Or, hey, what did you think of this? Like, or, hey, let's do this for Can Rant, or, hey, what are we doing this week for Can Rant? Like, we constantly, not constantly, like, you and I talk sporadically, sometimes more than others, depending on what's going on, but I'm just...
Depends how drunk
like,
and pissed we are or excited we are about a topic.
True. I won't lie about that. But, like, if you think about that, like, 15 years ago, that wasn't the case. I remember going with you and your parents to Walmart in Sheboygan and your mom and dad buying like the fucking old school Nokia brick phone, like cell phone, where...
You were there for that?
Yeah, I remember being there. I think we were doing other shit in Walmart, but like your parents went there with the intention of getting a cell phone. I don't know if I just happened to be at your house at the time or what it was.
That's a weird story.
But, well, okay, I just remember that.
Hey, Jeremy, you want to go buy a phone with us?
No, I just remember that. Like, what?
Yes.
Your parents were always very inclusive of me. Like, your parents were like, we'll fucking take you wherever. I wasn't part of the soccer team, and still I went to all these fucking Wave games, Chicago Fire games, the Dells, the fucking church trips, like all this fucking crazy shit like that. I personally and my family would have never experienced. And your parents are like, yeah, we'll take you. Don't worry about it.
Well, that was good. You made the soccer games way more fun.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, all the shit was fun. Like, I'm just saying, like, I personally would have never experienced the travel. Let's put it this way. Like, the first time I left the state was in 8th grade when we went to not Road America.
To Road America. Just down the street.
To Six Flags Great America in Illinois. And we made a huge deal out of it on the bus because that was the first time I had crossed state lines.
Oh, yeah, it was exciting, man.
Yeah, it was funny as fucking hell. And your dad, I'll never forget the day, like, he's like, oh, yeah, you're flying, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I've never been on a plane. What? You've never been on a fucking plane? Well, you didn't say fucking. You've never been on a plane? And I'm like...
Now he might.
No, I've never been on a plane. I didn't get on a plane until I was, like, 31.
And I'm disappointed I was not there. I wanted to be screaming the whole time, oh, God, get us off this flight! We're all gonna... Except that's probably not as kosher as it was at Six Flags.
Yeah, I was gonna say when we rode
like
that
on
ride,
a roller coaster. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it was crazy to fucking. It's the weirdest feeling in the world. I love it. I'll do it again. Like, I have no problems with it, other than like it sucks. It's cramped. It's my ears get all fucked up. I hate that. But I'll do it again,
Mister. These big problems. I get to fly from one country to another country in like 6 hours, and I'm complaining about leg room and my ears hurting. You sound like a seasoned traveler.
The way there, I was all like
jazzed up.
Yeah, the way back, on the way back, my ears never popped when we got back to Milwaukee, and it really pissed me off.
No, the technology of flying is super cool, but the actual implementation and what you have to go through with flying sucks so much dick. Like, I hate it, man. I hate it so much. I hate flying.
All right. So to bring it back, Doomsday Clock.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know how we got on flying.
Well, no, you
were
talking about hype and stuff.
Well, yeah, I just
and we went to the internet.
We are in a day and age where like we're always connected. We always know what's going on.
Yeah, like, which is good. Because now we know Doomsday Clock 12 is coming out. It has been solicited and previewed, and we have been waiting for this since 2 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm pumped. Question mark? Because
that's weird.
I don't remember. So this countdown to Doomsday Clock, it's been great because I'm like reliving it. All my excitement that I forgot about when issue 11 came out. I couldn't even tell you what happened in issue 11. That's gonna be a fun episode. Folks.
Issue 11 was like a recap thing.
All right.
Of everything going on.
3 and 4.
It's cool. We got the same covers. Why did you pick your covers? I picked these covers because they were the only ones there.
Well, number 3, this one was the only one there because I was buying back issues.
Which is a bottle of gin, like, crashing against a wall.
Yep. Is yours? Oh, yours isn't all taped up. Let me just look at this for a second.
Do you like taping yours?
That's just how it came. I don't like it.
And then you just kept the tape? You don't tear it off?
Well, I tape them because I don't like the flaps sticking up in my boxes, but I really like these, you can peel away, put it back on type things where the adhesive is on the back, so you don't really have to worry about the... You know, sometimes people like just flip the tape up off the bottom and try to pull the issue out, and it still sticks to the top flap, and then the tape sticks to the cover, and then you rip the cover.
Yeah, that's why I hate tape.
Yeah,
but I
always personally, when I tape mine, I take the tape and I like put it on my pants and peel it off so it's not as tacky, and then I'll put it on. I usually only do one. This one has 2. And then when I peel it off completely off the top and bottom flap, and then stick it on the side.
Oh,
that's how I do mine. But like sometimes this tape is like really fucking stuck down. The other thing I do is I use gift wrapping tape because it's not as sticky as some of the other tapes. There's different adhesive values to tapes. I don't know if you knew that.
I assume because there's duct tape and then there's scotch tape and then there's masking tape.
Yeah, well, and like the gift wrapping tape is similar to scotch tape. It's just not as there's not as much tack to it. So that one's that. I bought that one because it was a back issue, and then issue number 4. I believe I had a choice, and I liked the pancakes.
Yeah, pancakes are delicious.
Well, and I mean the whole Rorschach thing, even though he's not really Rorschach. I mean that whole little thing was cool. I liked that.
Wait, you don't think he's Rorschach?
Well, I mean, he's not the same dude, clearly.
But it doesn't matter. The Rorschach is a mantle.
Yeah, so we both got issue 3, first prints, cover number 1. And I think that's the same for issue number 4, yeah.
Wait, you can just check it that quick?
Yeah.
Back.
Okay, so I'll...
Yeah, do
if
some
nobody knows, I assume they know, but I'll educate you.
I don't know.
So you have the barcode, you have the UPC, right, on the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's 5 digits up above. This one is 00411. So the first 3 digits are the issue number.
Okay.
So issue number 4. The first, or 004, the first one is the cover. So this is cover number 1. There could be cover number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And or not 10. I don't know if they've ever done 10 variants. And then the last one.
I'm sure some of them have.
The last digit is the print. So this is a first print.
I'm going to have to go look at all my comics.
Yeah, they do it. Marvel does the same thing.
It might be a diamond thing.
Could be. I'm not 100% certain.
I was unaware that that was a thing. That's pretty cool. Now I'm gonna have to go check my other comics and see like what's what.
Yeah,
How did you find that?
I looked it up because I'm
Weird as fuck.
Well, no, I like to have first print. Like when I start collecting something, like if I have first print of something, I want first print of everything. I'm weird that way. Like I want everything to be the same.
So what if you get like a 4th print then? All the subsequential ones have to be 4th prints?
No, I'll go back and try to get a first print of it at some point.
Yeah. That can be pricey.
Depending on what it is. There's stuff I haven't. But like I like to know
That you got a first print.
No, it comes more in like back issues. So like when we go up to Powers, like he might have 5 different issues of number 1.
And you actually look to make sure it's a first printing?
Well, not necessarily, but like if I have a choice between a first print and a second print and they're the same price, the first print is probably going to appreciate in value more than the second print.
Except comics don't really appreciate value that much anymore.
Never know.
I heard that The Walking Dead was going to be like the last one that actually would be worth anything.
So if I'm going back before then, like Justice League Dark or I don't know.
Do you think Justice League Dark is going to actually gain the prominence to be worth?
Maybe if they do something really cool one day with it.
Oh, them planting the seeds for something bigger?
Could be. Who knows?
It would be cool to see a Justice League Dark movie. Would you watch it though?
Whoa. Now we're hopping to movies?
That's how these comics like get to be of value. That's the same thing with The Walking Dead. The Walking Dead issue 1 is only so good because it had a very long run, and it was also created into a TV show, and a spin-off TV show, and another spin-off TV show. So now it's in the entire cultural zeitgeist. So now people know it's an actual thing, and people like it a lot. So people want that first issue.
I mean, a Hellblazer number 1's expensive.
He's also on the CW and had his own TV show.
Swamp Thing
And
number one's
has
expensive.
300 something issues behind his name.
Okay, well, I don't know. I don't know why I do it.
And
I
Swamp
just
Thing
do
has
it.
had a
I just do
cartoon
it. I just
and
do
2
it.
TV shows and a movie.
Maybe it's wanting to be the first on something. I don't know. I just do. I just looked it up. Okay.
Okay. Well, it's interesting. I did not know that.
All right.
I
Take it
learned
away.
something
Doomsday
new.
Clock.
I like the storytelling in issue 4 very much, where it was jumping back and forth between the new Rorschach personalities, institutionalization in Arkham, and his institutionalization in the Watchmen universe, and how you never actually understood what was going on whatsoever. Unless you weren't disjointed at all. You read issue 4, right?
Yeah. So you really like that one?
Yeah. You really like number 3?
No. Are people gonna hate me if I feel like this was all filler?
Oh no, it wasn't entirely.
Okay.
Well, it wasn't. It is now because we've come to a point where we understand what's going on. But at the point in time in which you're reading it, it's all building to something that you don't actually understand. And they're actually laying the groundwork for a lot of very interesting things. Especially not issue 3, really. Issue 4 is, because they bring in that concept of that detective story.
Oh, yeah.
Who ends up being the crucial aspect of Dr. Manhattan's time traveling, or the guy he goes back and talks to the entire time. It was a nice little, like, it doesn't make any sense when you're reading this. Like, there are maybe some callbacks. Is it issue 3 or is it issue 3 is that does it, not issue 4?
Yeah, issue 3 is where
Issue 3.
Rorschach actually meets Batman, and
Which was fun. I liked that.
yeah,
Their meeting.
yeah.
Especially when Rorschach is like, oh, hey, it's psychological. He says, came here, ate breakfast, yes, found cave, elaborate, questioned sanity, motives.
Alfred makes mean pancakes.
Yeah, he says that to Batman. Like, I question your sanity. The crazy motherfucker is questioning the guy wearing a bat suit. The guy wearing a trench coat smelling like piss and rotten sewer garbage is questioning the guy wearing a bat suit.
It's funny, though.
Yeah, it's a nice touch. But, like, none of these issues spoke to you at all? I had to read them, like, super quick.
Not really. I mean, you got that fucking detective show going through there. I don't know. Like, it develops Rorschach as a character. You have a little bit of Marionette and Mime.
Who's Gone is actually real?
Oh, yeah. That was pretty cool. Him blowing the dude's brains out. I don't know.
But why do you think it's filler?
Did it progress the story?
Issue number 4 brought in
Rorschach's quote-unquote dad.
yeah, and like his psychological issues and why he is actually with Osmodeus.
Yep. Ozymandias,
yeah. I guess I just...
Mandias.
Ozymandias. But it's good storytelling the entire way.
Yeah, and the art is amazing.
Yeah.
No, that's always my go-to when I don't know what else to say.
Well, no, it's
Oh,
consistent.
the Mothman thing was interesting.
Yeah.
I liked that.
So he never actually flew.
No?
No. You think he flew?
No. Maybe?
Well, no. In like his letter, he's saying
Yep.
that he could never have flown, but he wanted Rorschach number 2 to believe whatever he saw as being the truth.
Which
Kind
in his mind he did see.
Yeah, which he did see him fly,
Yep.
but he never flew. And that was showing him that he could see the truth through all the lies. Or whatever truth that he had. I don't know. There is a big thing about... In this entire arc, there's a whole thing about truth and lies. Like, was Ozymandias correct in what he was doing in Watchmen by trying to unite the world with the alien? Because now he's come back on it, saying that he fucked up, that it was a poor decision.
Yeah. Well, that theme was already established beforehand, though. Him trying to go back and find Dr. Manhattan.
Yeah, but now he's, like, put on another lie. So, like, if he's going back to find Dr. Manhattan, why is he going back? Because he wants to correct stuff?
Yeah.
But is that a lie?
Oh. Well, that's a good point.
Well, I don't know. Because he's a big liar.
Okay, so skipping ahead, like, I don't want to skip ahead. Because I was going to say, it all becomes down to, like, fucking people trusting superheroes again, which was the same fucking theme in Watchmen, and everything got all fucking crazy again, but this time it's just with DC characters.
Did they actually come back to trusting heroes at the end of 11?
No,
they were
not
like-
that they trusted it. I'm saying they're questioning the trust in superheroes. Like, everything...
Yeah, so it's just Watchmen in the DC universe?
Right. That's what I wanted to say.
But it doesn't actually work in any of the other DC titles, just in Watchmen.
Doomsday Clock.
Doomsday Clock, Watchmen. They're
Same
all the
thing.
same.
How does this tie into the button? Other than the button got there because they obviously traveled through time? Because, right, this is supposed to explain Rebirth and the button.
Yeah. I think...
And the only thing I see so far is they showed up in the DC Universe timeline and dropped the button.
Yeah.
Because that much is shown when they, is that 3, when,
The comedian
dies?
dies, gets pushed into a different dimension.
Yep.
Wakes up in
Yep.
Gotham.
Yep.
Yeah, because
And he drops the pin.
Dr. Manhattan saves him.
Does he? Oh, yeah, he does. Yep, you're right.
I don't know. There's blue text and blue legs. I'm assuming that's...
Yeah, no, sorry. I forgot about that.
Well, no, I did too until I was looking at it.
Yeah.
Because even when I was, like, reading this really quick, I was questioning how the fuck did the comedian make it here? But then why would he save him? And doesn't that undo the Watchmen? Like, isn't the inciting incident that the comedian died? I'm pretty sure that was a pivotal aspect of the Watchmen, was that the comedian died. And that triggered everything else that happened.
Yeah.
And now they just retconned it. That the comedian didn't die.
So maybe Alan Moore was right to be pissed off?
There is a chance of that, yeah. Well, no, because, like, that's a thing that's happening right now. I know you don't really give a fuck with the whole Star Wars thing, is that they're retconning shit that happened in the previous movies to fit the new narrative that they're telling. And by changing it, they're destroying the old stories.
Because of Disney Plus.
Well, yeah. Well, not because of Disney Plus, just Disney in general. Not knowing how to actually tell good stories anymore.
I don't know, man. Like, these two issues...
They didn't have the same impact as the first two.
Yep.
But they're good they tell the story well. It sucked because I had to read them through so quick. But, like, you get into the new Rorschach's head, and you can kind of feel his trauma that's going on.
I agree with that. Maybe I just didn't connect with it as much. I don't know. I didn't get to read the end pages either. I didn't read any of the extra stuff like I did last time. I also did not read them till very late.
Oh. Well,
Maybe we're not doing this justice.
No, because I think you can read something quick and still understand it and enjoy it. I mean, there are probably Easter eggs and shit in here that we weren't able to pick up on. There are slight nuances. There is a cool little thing with the lantern, though, that they're bringing up that becomes more apparent later on. In later issues, because there's something with the ring that turned into a lantern that the Green Lantern picked up. Yep. And so they got the mosquito trying to find the light.
Got
and
it.
Goes into a lantern.
Did not get that.
And they do it twice.
Till you told me.
And the puzzle piece, like, it's kind of very blatant or whatever, that it's Ozymandias, that's the one piece that Rorschach is missing for him to actually figure out what he has to do. It seems that there are a lot of words, but they don't actually say anything. But I do really enjoy when Rorschach is actually talking in his persona.
Yeah.
Like on the torn yellow pad.
Yep, the yellow. Yep.
Like, that is some hard shit to read. Like,
I also feel like it had more impact than any of the other words on the pages.
Yeah. Like, it's just raw, uncentered, like, I don't know, unsettling sometimes.
Agreed.
They do still tell stories, though, like, without words very well. Like this scene in particular, issue 4 towards the end, where they're, like, burning down the asylum.
And Mothman's there again.
Yeah.
I like him.
Yeah. I thought he was Kite Man for a while, like when I first...
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of thought the same thing.
Hell yeah!
Yup. Yup.
And then, oh no, it's Mothman. But that's, so another thing that I was wondering then. So, the mime comes from the Watchmen universe where superpowers don't exist, but he has invisible guns. Unless they're not invisible guns and they are real guns that just have cloaking shit.
That's a good point. I did not think about that. Maybe I didn't read... Well, you've read Watchmen multiple times, haven't you?
No, just once.
Oh, okay.
Dude, I read Watchmen and I thought it was the shit, and I gave it to somebody and they held on to it for like 3 years.
Glad it wasn't
And
me,
then-
because
and then-
I'm known for that too.
Well, they moved and I went and saw them again in a different state, and I got it back from them. And then I gave it to my dad, and
I haven't
he's
seen it since.
never given it back. So I've only been able to read it once. I wanted to read it again for this before we got to like the final culmination of the last 2 years with this fucking story. But I haven't yet.
I don't know that it matters
Doomsday Clock?
to Watchmen. I think Doomsday Clock is taking characters from the Watchmen, trying to insert them into the DC universe and catch a certain audience with it, and twist the DC universe in the way that they wanted to until Snyder decided to do his whole thing and then fucked it all up.
They didn't fuck it up if sales are still there.
I'm not saying it fucked up the Doomsday Clock timeline. I don't even want to say narrative because they can still they can still tell the story. I just mean like
I am very curious about what kind of concessions were made to the story to fit into the mold of what is currently going on, though. Because there were lots of delays, and I don't know if this story is the same story they wanted to tell.
well, I thought this was all supposed to explain Rebirth. This is supposed to explain everything.
Well, it does, kind of. Because Dr. Manhattan has been going through time and altering it, trying to find the one prime Superman in which he can finally die. Is my interpretation of it. Because nothing else can kill Manhattan besides Superman. Or end his precognition. And so he's going back to the version of the DC universe that has the strongest Superman, which is the version, I don't know what era it is, but like pre-New 52, pre-whatever. Like that classic, iconic Superman. That's the one that's going to save the DC universe. Because this is all the whole metaverse thing that you're uninterested in. It was all about DC trying to get back to its actual roots and having good stories by having good characters that adhered to continuity that everybody agreed on. But then the Snyderverse happened and steered it away from iconic. That's maybe what's better about it. Iconic heroes. Like when you think of Superman, you think of like these certain pillars that represent him. Same with Batman, Wonder Woman, Green Arrow, all the heroes. Like there are classic stories, and you want stories told in that classic vein.
Careful,
also,
Mr. Comicsgate.
But also, I'm everything.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. No, it's just like there are good stories to be told, and sometimes you get a lot of trash. I think that's just what happens. The whole Comicsgate movement is about like, so they think that by virtue of telling these new stories that people aren't going to understand what the hero actually meant to a society at a certain point in time. And that is going to negate that character's influence and importance overall in the cultural zeitgeist. But the thing is, we both just recently jumped into like the superhero world.
True.
And we are reading stuff and we're like, this character is really cool. And then we go like, what else have been really good stories? And then we go into the backlog and we read the really good stories of these characters. And we're like, holy fuck, this character is amazing. And I think that's going to be what happens with all the new readers. They're going to jump in and be like, oh, this character is pretty cool. What are other good stories by them? And they're going to jump back and find these really old classic stories, and they're going to be influenced by those stories as well as the new ones, and they're going to create stories with both of them. So you got the current stories that are being told, the current mythos, and the old canon mythos. And they're going to intertwine, and there's nothing that's going to stop it. But the characters are going to evolve into something new. Because they can't be stagnant forever. As much as Alan Moore wants them to be.
Wow. Shots fired.
That's just my hot take. But yeah, no, these things didn't feel like when you're reading them, when you first get them, they feel real deep. But it was like that same issue with Heroes in Crisis. Like every issue felt super important until you got to the end. And then you were very like confused about what you were reading, like.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Like, I get how these develop the characters. I get how they advance the story a little bit. The problem is I don't remember. I'm thinking to myself, I know what happened in the last issue I read. Looking back, these don't matter, but I can't say that for certain. Because I don't remember.
I think one of the issues is, for some reason, we think that there's supposed to be like a actual pillar built in every issue, as opposed to like there are progressions in the story that need to occur for the overall story to be told as it's supposed to be told.
Well,
and you got to have those building blocks.
And that's what you get when you read floppies.
Yeah, like
because you have that filler for a month and you're like, oh my god, what the fuck?
But I remember
you're expecting a fucking grab the edge of your seat fucking ride every time, and you can't do that. There has to be, like you said, the progression, the building, the all that shit.
Well, it was weird because like the first two issues of Doomsday Clock, I felt were like pretty monumental. I don't know if that was because I had time to sit down and read them, but like burning through these, it just felt like that. I was just burning through, and I didn't get those background nuances.
I felt the same way. I didn't burn through them. They were there. Stuff happened. Based on what's happening now, I don't know how important it is.
Yeah. Like, it was really good storytelling, though. Like, the way it was progressing was very interesting, and I'm kind of disappointed I had to read through it so quick. But we got 8 more issues.
So we got 8 more issues left of this. Next week you can look forward to 5 and 6 of the Doomsday Clock Countdown.
Are you excited for them? Based off of what you read from 3 and 4?
Well, from what I remember, I'm pretty sure 5 and 6, My Meet Joker, I think. Spoiler alert, bitches. If you haven't read it, I mean, it's fucking 2 years old now. But I don't 100% remember. I'm pretty sure this is around the time where I stopped buying back issues and was caught up.
Yeah. I remember burning through, like, the first 5.
Yeah.
And then had to wait. And was really confused why the next one hadn't come out yet. That was before getting into the whole internet jargon stuff. And, like, following it day by day, seeing what kind of interesting things happened.
Yeah, I mean, now they were just like, well, towards the end here, they were just like, yeah, it's delayed. No one said anything anymore. It was almost a running joke at this point.
It really was. Lots of bets going on about whether or not it was going to come out or not.
Can I be honest? Like, I'm really scared this is just gonna fucking be a flop. Like, the story isn't even gonna matter anymore because it took so fucking long to tell. You brought up a great point, like, what was the story originally? Like, no one is ever gonna fucking know.
Well, John's will.
Well, okay, fair enough.
And
but,
everyone
like,
at DC will.
yeah, well, maybe.
And
Depends how far he was into it.
and 10 years from now we'll find out like there'll be people clamoring for the release the John's cut of Doomsday Clock.
I'd read it.
Oh yeah, so would I.
Maybe this should have been a fucking Vertigo or Black Label or whatever the fuck they want to do with the title.
It should have been a
Like-
title that was finished before they decided to solicit it.
Can I say this? Granted, we just got Rebirth back in March, like the first Rebirth issue that, you know, with the button and all that, and you hooked me up with the Batman Flash button story, and like I had already read some of Doomsday Clock and reading Doomsday Clock, like there's all this fascination with it and the hype of it. Like, I understand Snyder wanted to do something, but why can't we have the original cut of that?
Of Doomsday Clock?
Yeah. Like, I get it, this whole continuity thing, but like, fuck, man. Like, I read that first Rebirth issue, maybe I need to reread it again. Maybe it's shit, but like, I thought it was fucking cool.
Yeah.
Like, I was excited. I'm like, man, this and Doom... Like, I read Doomsday Clock first, but, like, this is fucking cool, and you hooked me up with Batman, Flash, the button, the story, and, like, all that stuff is really fucking great. And, like... Can I say number 12 almost feels anticlimactic at this point?
It's been a long time, yeah.
Like,
And like
almost...
it's not gonna have the impact it was supposed to have when it was supposed to be a monthly solicitation.
And maybe this is controversial, but like, sorry, Scott Snyder, I would have rather seen John's story come to fruition.
Well, no, see, that's the thing. That's what when you mislabel the comic skaters thing. It's like there is a completely different universe and storytelling that is going on with the Rebirth launch. Like, those seem like solid stories. And you were interested in them. We've gone into the Snyderverse. And you're dropping off of titles because they're not entertaining enough. Where you wanted Johns' Doomsday Clock. You wanted that universe, which was closer tied to the true continuity. There's some air quotes in there that the people who are adamant about mythology are actually arguing for, as opposed to the cash grab new wave, get all the readers and be edgy, exciting things that are going on right now that I've dropped off of.
The Hellblazer Rebirth was great. I'm pretty sure they canceled it right before Snyder did all his shit.
Do you think so? Snyder killed... You can never read another Snyder comic again if he killed...
I'm just saying, like,
Snyder
there
killed
are
Hellblazer.
very, very few issues after Metal of Hellblazer. Like, there's... And I'm talking when they changed the covers from Rebirth to this new post-Metal era.
Was the story coming to an end in Hellblazer, or you felt it could have continued on?
I mean...
There were threads in there.
It felt forced. My opinion.
Yeah. As forced as Deadpool? Scooter
No.
Youngs.
No, that was like an apparent middle finger. I'm surprised Marvel published the fucking shit. It just felt like there was stuff going on. They could have went for like you could say that about anything though. Like Hellblazer has a thing where like their story arcs it ends, the next writer comes on, they pick it up, they go. Right? Like this just like felt like it ended. I get it. It just is like excuse me. Instead of doing this, you could have done that and kept it going. They had two options. They chose to end it. You know. And is what it is.
Fuck Snyder. We want Hellblazer. Do you want Snyder to write Hellblazer?
Who's we? I didn't think you were that on board with it. Do I want Snyder to write Hellblazer? It's a good question. I don't know how to answer it. No.
No? Oh.
No.
Well, I would like to see Hellblazer in the universe.
He's coming back. Black Label. Vertigo. You know what? Fuck it all, DC. Fuck you, DC. Black Label's Vertigo. Fuck you. You should have just fucking left it that way. You gotta fucking have your name on everything for your fucking money bullshit, advertising, whatever. It's fucking Vertigo. Okay? End of the day, that's what you're fucking doing. Yes, you have your Batman, White Knight, and you have your Batman Scott Snyder story. But
Last
you know what
Night on
you're
Earth.
doing? You know, yes.
And you
thank
got your Batman Damned.
Don't get me started on that. But you know what?
Sometime I need to hear your rants on that.
Yeah, you know what you're doing though? Like, oh, and we had our Superman with Frank Miller, me. You know what you're doing though? Huh? The question. Huh? Batman Damned. Don't get me started. John Constantine's like pretty predominant through that story. You know what you're fucking doing? You're basically saying, taking all these Vertigo characters and putting them under your label, so it says DC, so that people will be like, oh, I'm gonna go over here and read some DC books because that's what's cool. No, fuck you. The same thing with the Dreaming. Same thing with the Sandman. Well, not Sandman. The Dreaming. Books of Magic. Lucifer.
House of Whispers. House of Whispers?
Is it Whispers?
Yeah.
Okay. House of Whispers. John Constantine Hellblazer. You fucking released it back in Black Label. Okay, you brought it out from Vertigo. You put it in New 52. You put it in Rebirth, and you're like, back in Black Label. How's that gonna work when you got him in fucking Justice League Dark? Anyway.
Continuity doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't. If it's a good story, I don't give a shit. Fuck it. Batman White Knight is not... It doesn't fit. But you know what?
It's the best Batman story going on.
You know what else doesn't make sense or doesn't fit? You have Justice League Wonder Woman and Justice League Dark Wonder Woman. Huh. Doesn't really fit. And you know what's really sad? When they started all this shit, all the same time. All happening at the same time. You can't tell me one happened a month before the other when they're all at the source wall and when the source wall breaks and all this other bullshit. Doesn't make sense continuity-wise, but you don't care about that because you sold a bunch of issues. They probably have other reasons. I just don't want to hear them. Oh, yeah. So, with that, we're going to end 2 Can Rant. Next week, we're going to do 5 and 6 of Doomsday Clock, and from there, it's going to be a surprise, because I don't know. Gantz number 3. We didn't.
yeah.
We didn't. You know what's funny? We did not really discuss anything with the story of Gantz.
No, because like you gotta read number 3, man. Like,
Okay.
shit fucking pops off. Like I wanted to ask you about how you felt about the arc ending, like midway through on that omnibus. We'll save that for the next time.
Pissed off.
Dude, shit gets crazy,
Okay.
and I didn't want to like delve into it too much. Cause,
No, it's cool. It's cool. Like,
I mean, we had a solid discussion on Gantz and manga in general that has had me like reevaluate Western and Eastern comics quite a lot, and why I actually enjoy manga more.
well, it's really starting to make me question what I'm buying.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, this might become the Can Rant manga podcast. Podcast.
Well, no, because I still do enjoy Western comics.
Soundbite it.
Done.
Cut! Alright, we're just two cans with two tall cans who can rant because we got two tall cans. Motherfucker!